Hello. All right, just setting this up. I believe it is live. Yes. I believe it is. Yep. Hoo boy. Oops. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm all right.
I'm here too.
Hello. I'm exhausted. How was everyone's month?
It was okay. I mean,
Fine, I
eh,
guess.
so I wonder though, Bottoms just got released on digital. You're gonna do a watch along for that, or
I mean, it seems like I should. I'm just trying to figure out where that lies in my list of priorities at the moment because we're doing watch-alongs to the podcast movies today after the Hangout because those need to be watched so I can talk about them on the podcast. So those are the priorities. And then I think after that, if we still have energy, then we'll do like Happy Feet 2 just because I want to do something with
Sorry
Cappy
for
F.
not sticking around for Happy Feet. I was
You don't have to
just way
apologize
too
for that.
tired.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was
even
fun
bother
though.
with it. I went to bed early yesterday, so I didn't do Happy Feet.
Yeah, it was fun though. I enjoyed
I
it.
haven't seen Happy Feet in like a long time, but I had the Happy Feet DS game that I remember was like a weird rhythm game for some reason.
I don't remember that, but I mean, it makes sense that it would be a rhythm game though.
Yeah.
I mean, what else?
Mm-hmm.
Just walk around as a penguin.
1 p.m. Eastern. That means it's 10 a.m. Pacific.
It's a good chance a lot of people maybe are busy today, so it could just be me and Olivia and you. I'm sure more
Why
people.
would today make people busy? Is it a special day?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we can hang out.
I'm sure more people will come.
Bottoms. Let's see. I mean, damn, I'm surprised it's. I mean, I guess I'm not that surprised that it's going to digital so soon.
A lot of movies have been doing that recently. A lot of recent movies have been going to digital that maybe haven't done super well in theaters. Like the Wes Anderson movie Asteroid City went to theaters like 3 weeks after it was released in theaters, and then I'm sure there's other ones I can't think of, but I know that's been a trend recently. I've been told that apparently like especially for like Universal, it's fairly more profitable to do that than just stick to theaters, unless if it's like a Mario or an Oppenheimer for them.
Yeah, it depends on how you're digitally releasing it. I'm hoping that more studios just license their content. It seems to be the kind of the conversation instead of having proprietary streaming services.
Yeah, I mean that's it's unfortunate though. One of these services are just going to die out soon. I'm predicting it's going to be either Peacock or Paramount Plus or Apple TV. Those are the three that I could see going down in flames soon.
I don't know if Apple TV will.
Maybe not Apple, but I could see Peacock absolutely going down because I think there was a report that they lost like $3 billion this year alone for Peacock.
I mean, good. It's like the most useless thing. It was so funny because I was there was a movie that I was gonna figure out where to stream. I think it was I don't even know what it was, but I looked up like where to stream, and then it said it was streaming on Peacock. So then oh yeah, it was Videodrome. Let's see where to stream Videodrome. Yeah,
I saw Videodrome once a long time ago, and it was before I looked at movies in a more critical light, so I didn't quite get it.
I'll be watching it again at some point soon. But yeah, it said. Well, now it says it's not available for streaming, so I don't know why. Or maybe is that only because I have the 4K? Oh yeah, so HD It says Peacock Premium on the Where to Stream website. And it's crazy because I was like, okay, well, I just want to know the runtime. Like, is the Peacock version the director's cut or the theatrical cut? There's no way I can search the movie on the website without signing up, so I'll just never know because I'm never signing up. It's like there's other, like you can find the page for like, let's see. So if I just search Netflix Breaking Bad, it takes you to the title page. And it shows what it is. It shows the details. It shows 5 seasons. Episode 1, it shows the length. I'm willing to bet that Max has something similar. If I do Max, like fucking Gumball or something. Watch The Amazing World of Gumball. Takes you to the page. I'm not even signed in to fucking Max. It shows me the episodes. Does it show the length even? Let's see. Well, it shows what episodes there are. If I looked up a movie, it might even tell me. Hold on. Training Day on Max. Well, no, it doesn't. Anyway, I guess Netflix does, and that's fine. But my point is that they should give you the information about the show that you might want to watch before you have to sign up for it, and then you might sign up for it if you know it's the thing you want to watch.
Hey, Easy Games.
Hello.
Easy.
Hello.
We were talking about like Peacock and how it's kind of a bad service.
It's kind
But
of
I
dumb.
know that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is going to Peacock. You say you want to do like a watch along for that, Adam, or something?
Probably, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think I'll
Torkin wants
skip
to, and
that
I
one.
figure that makes sense too. What day is it coming out? October something?
October 27th, so right around Halloween. I'm
Oh.
still mad. I am still so fucking mad that like Saw X decided to move the release date up because they were scared of Five Nights at Freddy's because it was supposed to come out October 27th as well, and it would have been awesome to do like a FNAF Saw double feature, but it's not happening anymore. It's to
Is
coming out
that
next week, though.
Is that why they changed it?
Yeah, and then they saw like, oh, Paw Patrol's coming out, so let's try to make a meme out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Just acting
Releasing-
like a leech.
it's not the worst idea to release like right as October is starting because it's a whole month. Halloween's a whole month basically. People pretend like Halloween's a day, but it's really a whole month. So
Yeah, it really is.
it's not a
So
bad
is
idea to have
Christmas.
something available for people to watch like October 1st.
Halloween and Christmas are like basically just a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't wait till the end of the month to release a horror movie. Doesn't matter. Because by the time it gets legs and people are talking about it, it's like already November and people don't want to do Halloween anymore.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, people were already celebrating Halloween in around my area. There's already people like I'm in a college, and there's already like Halloween decorations being hung up around the place. So I guess it makes sense to
Mhm.
celebrate Halloween now because why not? And I also have this thing where like sometimes when it's like October, some stores like the store I used to work at, but I work at a new store now. They used to put Christmas decorations up at like the middle of October for no reason at all, like in certain places. It
Yeah,
was,
some people get too excited about Christmas. So it seems like
Yeah, Christmas is wild.
When am I gone for BLFC? Am I gone on the 29th? So maybe I can do a watch along like right before. I'm just going to check my calendar.
Okay. You playing Death to Canada? Wait, did I say Death to Canada?
Death to Canada. Jesus Christ, BC.
I love how you said that immediately after Adam left.
Death to Canada.
Okay.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
I didn't mean to.
You're a terrorist now, BC.
Yay.
Oh. Yeah, I'll be able to
Hey,
do it before I
Adam, while
leave.
you were gone, BC said death to Canada. Just letting you know.
Cool. Cool. It's fine.
It's fine.
Doesn't
He was
matter.
trying to say
Wait.
the name of my game.
Wait,
Oh.
wait, are you playing as Adam and Scoot in the game?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
or I tried to make them.
I mean,
Ooh, in the
it's
morning,
pretty.
there's a
It's not.
moose.
It's not inaccurate. You can tell who it's supposed to be.
It's
Also,
pretty. It's pretty accurate for
In
like
the morning, there's a moose
for like
outside the
8-bit
camp. It
chibi
looks injured
heads
and
to
is
them.
glaring at the group. Even injured, a moose is a really powerful creature. Probably best not to mess with it. Scott wrestles the moose. Perfect. Oh, he got injured. Whoops.
is wrestling just a normal thing that happens, or did you create the character to be a wrestler?
I think there's an ex-wrestler option, but I don't know
Okay.
if I ever unlocked that.
Wrestling
I'd have
just
to
showed up.
check. It's a
Wrestling
fun,
events.
silly game.
Is it
that
like
will, like,
Oregon
Screw you
Trail?
over with RNG, but it's still fun. Huh?
Is it like Oregon Trail?
Yeah, kinda. It's kind of like
been
an
look-
Oregon Trail kind of thing.
Mhm.
I've
But-
been looking for more games to play recently.
Even when you lose, and you lose most of the time, it doesn't feel that bad because you can collect points to get permanent upgrades.
Mhm.
Also, there's an achievement for getting all the way to Canada and then accidentally blowing up Justin Trudeau.
So it
you
is
obviously are not allowed into Canada if you do that, so you just lose the run.
That's funny that you can assassinate a prime minister in the game.
It's literally Justin Trudeau too.
That's
it
great.
looks like him.
That's funny.
It's funny.
I've been trying to find more games to play recently.
I tried
Um,
out Liza PP, so that was interesting.
How is it? I heard it's well optimized for PC, is what I heard.
I'm enjoying it.
Well, I'm playing it on Xbox, so I can't say what the PC is, but I because it's on Game Pass, and I'm enjoying it for what it is. It's basically a Bloodborne spiritual successor in so many ways, but with Pinocchio, and it's although I will say it is slightly easier
I have
than
no
Dark Souls
food
than most Dark Souls
here.
games, but it's still hard. But it's a fun game for what it is.
Mhm.
Although I'm not far into it, so maybe I need to play more of it.
Damn, it's so funny how many games they think that I'm gonna play as soon as they're out, and then it's like I'm still fucking. I try to beat these other things. I gotta finish Snook game. Like, how much is left? Like 4 hours or what? Like, we gotta beat it.
People in the comments were very aggressive because I didn't like Snoop Game.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's fucking transphobic. What do you want from me? It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's cool stuff in it, but like, a duck is a duck, man.
Mm.
They made
Either-
the NB character a shrieking stereotype.
Actually, no. Oh, sorry. Was that
Ah!
character? I'm sorry.
Got it.
Was that character like?
Oh, no food, damn it.
Was that character known to be non-binary before Snoop Game came out, or did that only
Yes.
happen until? Okay, so they deliberately made the character a she. Then that's yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's kind of icky.
the character in Snoot game is non-binary, but the protagonist, a non-4chan guy, is his internal dialogue is that they're a she.
Every time they mention the Anon in that game, I always just kind of internally cringe.
Yeah, it's so like 4chan-y. I just kind of like.
I feel like
ugh.
it could have been so much worse, though.
Yeah, it could have been worse, but that doesn't mean it's okay.
I feel like I would have expected it to be a lot more edgy.
Even
It's like
the,
it's basically polishing a turd. You polished
It
a
also
turd
just feels
first
weird.
game.
Like, I get it. Goodbye Volcano High was shit. It's a bad game. But there's something so weird about taking someone's Envy character and then making them not Envy. Like, it feels very ew to me.
Did they make them not, or did they just make the protagonist like
Fuck,
not?
damn it, I
not
spoiled
respect the
something.
pronouns.
God damn it, I wasn't thinking.
I just assume everybody in Snoot Game is like a piece of shit,
I'm like,
and I barely watch the playthroughs anyway.
I'm of the mindset that like new things politically, and this is still like a relatively new thing for most people. And remember, the game was made like 3 years ago or some shit.
2.
2 years ago. I'm of the mindset that like, you know, some people it just kind of takes time for people to figure things out. I think that there's like 5 years ago there was like the conversation around trans people in general has shifted dramatically, and it's not like just a you know, everybody who was being super transphobic 5 years ago. It's not like a huge portion of them died. It's just a lot of people became more aware of like what the conversation was, and I think people's gut reactions a lot of the time is, you know, just either ignorance or confusion or, you know, like joking or something, right?
I think the biggest mistake I made in that chat was kind of like going after the dev a bit. That was probably unfair on my angle
I
because
don't even remember.
I don't know how he like feels about it today, and I don't want to be like, "Oh, you suck forever."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, you know, they knew what their audience was, and there's nothing. If you want to like appeal to 4chan, but still have a game that is safe to have a category on Twitch and isn't just banned from Twitch, I think that they did a pretty good job at filling both of those niches. I think they did a pretty, you know,
the
it's
game's
it's
not
kind of like a
horrible.
difficult thing to navigate.
My
Just-
opinion
I
did kind of
don't-
change later on.
Mhm.
I just think this like if Goodbye Volcano High didn't exist, nobody would be paying attention to this game at all. Is the thing. So
Well, yeah, because it's a mockery in the same. Well,
Yeah.
like yeah, like that's how you get attention on the internet, is making fun of something else.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody. If you want to start your own music project, you do cover
Apparently
songs. Like that's how you make it big on YouTube. Like that's how you get attention on the internet, is you make commentary on something people are already talking about.
Apparently that was like the deal with Spider-Man Lotus, more or less.
Well, yeah,
Where it's
no one
like,
would have
oh,
watched
we
him.
didn't like the MCU Spider-Man movies, so we can do better. And then they made a movie that wasn't very good.
Well, even if it's not critical, even if it's just like a fan thing, like the only reason people know about it is because of the word Spider-Man, right? Somebody makes their own original dumb
That and the
student.
racism
Man
controversy.
Spider.
I mean, people
And the
were
fact-
they blew up way before the racism controversy. People I reacted to that trailer way before that, and it's
Sure,
just people
but
were
it
asking me
absolutely has tainted the internet's opinion of it. Like,
to, right? Oh yeah, I'm just saying why it
think
got
people
popular.
wouldn't be so harsh on it if not for those controversies.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the movie, but I saw Cosmonaut's video on the Spider-Man Lotus, and it seems like even if it
I watched that
without-
yesterday.
I watched it when it came out, like relatively recently, when it came out initially. But I think one of the things that stood out to me is the fact that he said that even without the controversy, the movie still fucking sucks, because it's like, this is not how you portray Spider-Man in any way. Like, he literally in the film, Spider-Man literally
How
uses
long is the
humans
film?
as sheep.
Sorry.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh really? I thought it was gonna be a short. I thought it was like a half
No.
hour thing. That's so funny.
I believe
Is it on YouTube?
I think
If I,
they
if
just
I remember correctly, when they got more attention to the project, they like extended the script a bit
Damn.
to make it a longer movie.
3.3
Because I
out
think
of
it was
10.
originally supposed to be a short film, but then it got bigger because
Oh,
of,
okay, it
like,
originally was. That makes
yeah.
sense.
the same thing also happened to that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie, where like they were able to get like a much bigger budget because of it going viral online.
There's like a sequel.
That's
to that
funny
now or
because the
something.
Winnie the Pooh budget was $100,000.
Yeah, I think
And
the
That's
made,
budget
insane,
for
actually.
yeah, I think the budget for like the new acquired budget for Blood and Honey was specifically so that they could have like a car explode or something.
I
What
like.
amount did I say?
Hmm?
Did I say 100 million?
You said 100,000.
Okay, I said the right thing then.
I'm
It is like
just
a
thinking
really
it's
low
insane.
budget.
Anyway,
It's so weird.
I haven't seen the movie, but like, you could make it like there. I mean, there's countless examples of people making better movies for less than that. As in better movies that if you saw a clip from the trailer, you'd look at it and be like, "Oh, that looks like a real movie." Whereas you look at the trailer for Blood and Honey and you're like, somebody made a YouTube video pretending to be a trailer and didn't spend any money.
It's
Yeah.
like
I
those.
watched what was it, Dead Meat's video, the Kill
On
Count
Winnie the-
video on Blood and Honey, and the very first things that he like pointed out about the movie at the beginning of the video was that the guy that made it has apparently like always he's had a knack of like releasing these really low budget and
Hi,
really
Adam.
really cheap
Hello.
horror movies,
Hi,
just
hey
like
boy.
in like a short amount of time. And this was just like one of his latest ones or something.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently none of them are good, but
Yeah.
I
It's
just
also it like what I got from Cosmonauts review, it really doesn't seem like they even really understood how to make a competent story. Like it doesn't even seem formatted. The story doesn't seem formatted well for a movie.
no.
I'm
And
I'm like morbidly curious, but it's funny because I just it's always fucking weird to me when like people are talking about this, like hyping this thing up, and they're like, Adam, react to the trailer. And there's a lot of people that are like, no, it'll be good. And then the racism thing comes out, and everybody's like, oh, it's so bad. But it's like, it seems like the public tone shifted on it because of the controversy behind it, not because of what the film looked like. Because I could tell you from the beginning, before the controversy, it looked bad. Like, and for some reason, a lot of people were just not willing to admit that, and it's so weird. But then, yeah, I don't
I
know.
think
It's
there
always weird
were
to me. It's just like,
I think there were people just they're tired of like studio movies, but then they also want to have superhero movies, so they want to, how should we say, have a cake and eat it at the same time,
Mhm.
But then like but then like, oh, they found out it's like, oh wow, it's exactly the same kind of stuff we went through with like studio movies, abusive work environment and stuff, and then people just like get really turned down by it.
Mhm.
maybe people just have like like a higher expectation for like more independent studios. Like they don't want, well, like everybody expects the big studios to have like all those problems, but like when it's like a smaller team or like a smaller studio doing it, then it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, I agree. If you work in the movie, sometimes a lot of tensions can happen. I worked part-time on a lot of smaller films. You not name names, but you always get like people being like mean to one another because just because of the stress it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyways,
I'm gonna answer a question in Super Chat, Cool Cat Studios. If they're comparable at all, what did I think about Dry Grasses and Evil Does Not
Damn
Exist,
it.
both from directors known for slow cinema? See, this is the second movie I've seen from
Ramaske Hamaguchi.
yeah,
I might be mispronouncing his name.
Ryusuke Hamaguchi,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think.
interested in talking about that because, sorry, just interject 1 second. I'm interested to talk about that because I've seen some of his other films and I really didn't
Hamaguchi?
like them. Yeah, Miragochi, yeah, was Asuka 1 and 2. Like that movie, nothing happened, and then there was another movie that he was Drive My Car. He had another movie released at the same year called Fantasy or something. It was kind of cute because it was like an anthology, 3 stories. But like it was relaxing to watch, but nothing comes of it. Was Drive My Car something really glued to me to it because I coming in to drive my car. I think that year TIFF it was like online. I didn't really. I came in with no expectation because I didn't really like his movies before, and I started watching Drive My Car, and then there's something really hitting me just about like actors playing out. They're trying to do a therapy with their emotions. Something about that really connect with me. But yeah, I would say this year at TIFF. By the way, great seeing you at TIFF, Adam.
Thank you.
About Dry Grasses just blew me away in the most ever way, especially not giving anything away, just like there's like one dialogue where how character interject with each other. I found that to be really, really awesome. So sorry, sorry to interrupt you. Just
It's all good. Yeah. I don't understand why. Like, so I watched Drive My Car, and that was 3 hours, and it was like, okay, maybe I would have enjoyed this if more happened, and if it was like 90 minutes.
Did you finish it?
I did finish Drive My Car. Did I? I think I did. Did I?
That's the only Hamaguchi film I've seen. So.
I think I might have finished that one.
I tried and didn't get very far.
I know. If you don't, here's if you remember a movie and you don't remember whether or not you finished it, that's not a very
bad
good
sign.
Yeah, like if it's so boring that I honestly am struggling to remember if like I did finish it. I'm pretty sure I did. Evil Does Not Exist, I think, is the only movie at TIFF that I didn't finish because we were cutting it close to another movie, and I was like, well, you know, why would I don't want to be late for a movie that I might enjoy, you know, at the expense of, you know, staying for a movie that I'm definitely not enjoying. Evil Does Not Exist is a film that I watched because people keep hyping up this director, and I was like, well, this one's an hour and 46 minutes, so hopefully maybe he learned how to be respectful of people's time and actually tell a story, and he didn't. The first 30 minutes are just people walking around in the woods, and it's like, okay, I understand why you're showing them doing that. I don't understand why you're showing them doing that for 30 minutes.
I'm not great with slow movies.
Fucking About Dry Grasses is like one of my favorite movies from the festival, and that's the longest and slowest movie that I watched, but it's purposeful. It's super well shot. There's like so much you can pick out from every scene. Like the set design, everything feels lived in. The characters are interesting, and like the acting's super good. It's just there's so much more to appreciate about it, and there's more to chew on and more to think about. And Evil Does Not Exist is a movie that kind of implies that there's more to think about and chew on, but it's really just it doesn't offer anything, and it's a really basic bitch movie, and it's frustrating. And yeah, so
I think,
and I know what happens at the ending because people told me, but
I can watch like some slow movies if they're really, really good, like Tar.
I'm the exact same way. I'm really
Tar. Even though I liked it, the pacing was still something that like kind of hurt my experience.
That movie flew by for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I get it. I understand because I think you're just in general more tolerant of slow movies than I am.
Well, it depends what's in it. Here's the thing. Some people think of everybody needs to be like stimulated in some way, whether it be like visually or like plot wise or auditorily. And so some people, their version of that is, you know, like, oh, flashing lights, TikTok, or blah 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 blah, or just like some people's version. Like, to me, what helps stimulate my experience in a film is if the sets aren't stagnant, if we're not in the same location for like the entire movie, you know, things are constantly moving to another scene. Like, you can have long scenes, even within that, but if there's like a really huge attention to detail and a focus on realism and creating scenarios and performances and sets that feel so incredibly real that they stick out from so many other movies, where it's not like I watch Tar or About Dry Grasses or any one of these films where it's like, oh, it's slow, but I'm able to appreciate so much about it that it doesn't, like, I'm not bored.
I never.
This has nothing to do with anything,
slow.
but
Sorry.
I tried to pick up like an AK and accidentally threw a Molotov and burned Adam and Scoot to death. I'm sorry.
No.
Will we come back?
No.
Dead Adam.
If I die and start the game over, you'll come back.
Okay.
Adam, speaking about slow cinema, what did you think of Memory this year? Because I saw it, and I was just that director. I saw Sundown, and it's like it was like really, really boring to me, that movie. You know.
Which one, Memory or Sundown? Both.
But more Memory, because I was Memory. I was like half the time. I think what really constituted slow for me was when the dialogue felt a little bit more performative in a way. because I like a lot of time, like I watch 12 Angry Men, or like 12 Angry Men happens in just one courtroom the whole movie, but I really loved it because there's like a lot of energy. Also, something like the Before trilogy, where like how the dialogue was constant. It's almost felt like improvisational in a lot of ways. But with Memories, it felt like everyone is just reading a line. I don't know how you felt, but
I felt like the actors did a great job with what they worked with, but they're like the story was kind of
yeah,
weird and
it was
not weird
supposed.
in like an interesting way, but weird in like
I
just
agree.
a nonsensical way. Like there is no character that is relatable in a way that you can understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just watching people do things for seemingly no reason almost.
Yeah. I felt, without giving anything away, I thought the ending clarified a lot of the boring things that happened earlier, but it's not enough for me to be like, oh wow, this is like an experience I want to revisit. And it's not helping, like one of the persons sitting next to me was drinking wine, and then like, it was just the smell was like really bothering me.
Mm.
So it was, yeah, like that director. I was like, Sundown. I was also that's another movie I didn't finish because I was just like, I felt kind of checked out. I like Tim Roth in that film, but I like the actors in those movies. I like the acting, but like those movies are just like
Sundown
there's
was at
something.
least interesting, I thought. I thought that Sundown was interesting and that helped it. But this one was like not interesting.
Yeah. Did you stay for the Q&A? And he, because I like the Jessica Chastain literally said like director was drunk in the bar or something.
Do you want to clarify? Because that I don't know what
Well, because I like, sorry, I may have exaggerated, but like
okay.
during the Q&A, like Jessica Chastain was like saying like, oh yeah, the director was in the bar, he couldn't come over. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, that's
maybe I don't know. Maybe that was a joke or something. I could look it up after, but no, I didn't stay for the Q&A. I ran to another movie.
oh, okay, yeah.
Well, speaking of TIFF, though, one of the movies I want to know, you talk about slow movies. Was Zone of Interest a slow movie to you?
Yes.
I know it's your favorite. I know it was your favorite movie at the festival, I think.
It's
but,
it's a slow movie, but I don't think it'll feel as slow on a second watch. And I think that the way in which it is kind of exhausting pacing wise is also not necessarily an unfitting or bad thing. Like maybe it can be improved in that sense, but I felt like maybe part of the exhausting quality of it was kind of adding to the emotionally exhausting aspects, which I thought were great. So I'm gonna see if maybe I'll feel differently on a second watch, but I have to watch it a second time. It's one of those movies.
See, I missed that for Coriolis Monster. I traded that for like Coriolis Monster. Just
yeah, well, I was
I
gonna
was
say, yeah, I'll let Davis go first.
yeah, I was gonna say Davis has raised their hand for a while.
Oh, yeah.
sorry.
No, you're all good. I've been playing Dying Light 2 in the background, so you're all good. But I just wanted to talk about two things super quickly. One was, I know most of your audience, and probably you yourself, do not care about Marvel or Disney and all your things with Disney. I have the same gripes with them. But for some reason, in all of my news feeds, I keep fucking seeing shit about the director of the Marvels movie that's coming out. And every single thing I read that this woman is saying to publication is mind blowing, because all she's saying is like, yeah, I didn't really have like much control of this movie, and like
That's
it wasn't
funny.
really up to me. And I'm just like, it's mind blowing to me what you're just willing to say to news publication to technically promote your movie. There was an article when the 10th Fast and Furious movie came out, and the director at the premiere said, yeah, when I was on the flight on the way to shoot the third act, the producers were like, yeah, we would like you to rewrite this whole thing, basically. And on his 3.5-hour flight, he rewrote the whole third act. And I was like, how in any way do you think that is beneficiary towards promoting your film?
Yeah, some people don't understand the game they're supposed to be playing in terms of like marketing, but yeah, I think at a certain point, some people are kind of just looking to save their own ass in a way. They're like, well, I can tell you it's going to be bad, but it wasn't my fault.
Right? It's just hilarious. Consider why do it in the first place. I feel like you're fucked immediately.
It reminds me about how Taika Waititi said that like he apparently didn't have a lot of creative control for the latest Thor movie, but so maybe it's just the fact that when you're in the Disney machine, you don't have a lot of creative control when you make your movies.
I mean, everybody should already know that. It shouldn't be a surprise to any director doing that. Is kind of what we're getting.
Yeah,
at.
I guess that when you do that when you make a Marvel film, but I also do think Taika Waititi specifically kind of fell off in a way because the latest Thor movie was bad, and I know that that movie that premiered at TIFF, Next Goal Wins, didn't get a lot of good reviews and stuff. So he really fell down. Taika Waititi really fell down the Disney machine in a lot of ways because after the Thor Ragnarok did well, he did Jojo Rabbit, which was technically a Disney film because of the Fox merger, and then he did another Thor movie. And then he also is doing Next Goal Win, which is another Disney movie that's being released by the Fox thing.
But he was also in Free Guy.
He was also Free Guy. He was in Lightyear. He was in the Mandalorian. He's going to direct a Star Wars movie. He's just like, I feel so bad for.
He just wants money. It's clear. He needs some more money. He just wants to.
I think there is another implication where like you kept on making popular movies because the appeal of popular movies is like so broad that it kind of erases individuality to an extent. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's in that kind of a mindset, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't think. I have a feeling he's trying to make a good movie, but it's just like he's such in this kind of like making movies for the mass audience. You know, it kind of loses its uniqueness, kind of like what James Cameron was Avatar a little bit, you know.
I do kind of wonder, but like these are movies that are being released by like major corporations like Disney and stuff, and if they don't allow like the directors to have like creative freedom or anything like that, like why even have a director in the first place? Like, I guess because I guess it's because like you can't not have somebody on set like telling the actors to do things, but like theoretically couldn't a corporation do that at this point? I don't know, but I almost wonder if like they only include those types of like name directors just for like marketing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like people might.
I mean, that's
like,
in a
like
sense
people
why
would want to go see. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in a sense, that's kind of why they do producer credits and the fucking beginning of trailers and shit. It's because just the fact of Sam Raimi's name being an executive producer will get people's butts in a theater. That's what worked for The Grudge. It's what works for fucking. Oh god, I mean, there are countless options. I really can't think of any just because I'm focusing on a game right now.
That's fine, but yeah, it's a thing. Who knows? Yeah, it's interesting just how many directors go into the Disney machine.
Yeah. Like it's almost like the director is like the mouthpiece for the corporation or something. Like you need to direct people to do the movie in the way that works with like our analytics or something like that. Like we've done all this research to figure out like what's going to make a movie successful, and it's your job to make sure that those things are in the movie.
Yeah, it would be interesting to do it, you know. Maybe I'd direct a fucking Disney movie if they asked me. Would I do it?
How much money would it take though?
Well, I'm not even like morally opposed to just making like a bad Disney movie.
But like, okay,
as long as everybody's honest about it.
Like, how would you present it as it's clearly like meant for bullshit to not like break your integrity?
I wonder what I'd be able to get away with in terms of like sarcasm. If I went into the interviews, I'm like, this is gonna be the best movie you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
I think that would be that's a good strat. I would be like, this is gonna change the world of filmmaking. Like, I've created a new type of movie.
Yeah. It's gonna be like the
Harmony
Lion King all over again.
Yeah. What's crazy was like I was before Mulan was released, I heard like the interview of like the director was saying like, "Oh wow, I read we followed the movie close to the source material." Same thing with like the Little Mermaid. Like I think Rob Marshall was saying like, "Oh, we want to trace back to the source material, the tale," and then the film even begins with a quote from the Thomas what's Anderson? Which Anderson? Who wrote the
Hmm.
Little Mermaid?
I
It
don't
started
remember.
with this quote,
Hans
and I
Christian
read the
Andersen.
source material. It's like, okay, you guys clearly didn't read the source material or just lying, because like Mulan was just basically like it was a poem. It's like, hey, if girls can go to battle, you can do it too. And then Little Mermaid is just about Little Mermaid, getting screwed over by the rich, by the rich class. Depends on how you read it. And then she died pursuing like quote unquote true love. And I was like, that's not what the movie you're making about. So
Hmm.
like don't say things like that if your movie is not about that. Like the animated film already changed the context to the point where it almost has nothing to do with the context other than the show. So like I don't understand why these directors have to say we trace back to the roots where you're clearly not doing that, you know?
Yeah, I
Because
think
they
I think
lost
I
all
would
the
just
original
go.
fans.
I would just go for full hyperbole. I would, yeah. I'll make a Disney movie, and then I'll be like, you don't even understand what this is. It's
Yeah.
I've created something that will change your life forever.
Yeah.
If Adam got to remake a Disney movie, he would remake The Lion King again and make Scar fuckable again. That's what he would do.
Yeah. Make a Herbie remake, but make the car fuckable.
I just don't
Fuckable.
think they would give me that level of creative control to make the characters fuckable again. That seems
Well, maybe not
to be the
outright
one thing that
fuckable.
they don't want in their new movies right
Okay,
now.
so
You're just making it into a porno.
Add
I'm adding
some
a horse
innuendos.
character coincidentally named Adam who ends up
Yeah.
having sex with Scar. You
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah.
Too crazy.
Adam, do you ever want to pitch to Pixar about a movie that representing furries? Because it
No.
seems like they like to do quote unquote representation a lot, while they really don't care. But
They already did
Zootopia.
that with Zootopia.
I was about to say that.
Although that's not Pixar, but like
It's same thing.
still Disney.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Going back to Tiff, though, I wanted to ask another film that I saw you gave a rating. Well, actually, there's two I want to ask. How was Aggro Drift? Because I know that one is
Yes.
like extremely fucking
oh
polarizing.
my god, I
It
can't believe I was in that screening, sitting in the front row. It was just it was really annoying. I later found out some people left the screening halfway. I couldn't even see it because I'm sitting in the front row. Ugh.
yeah. It was the talk of the festival for sure. More people talked about it than any other movie, I think. In terms of like anybody that I talked to, everybody had something to say about Aggro Drift.
Was it in good conscience though? Like not even saying in like good reviews, but like was it good positivity? Do you think it's something that the movie deserves?
It's a Harmony Korine movie.
Okay.
It's funny
It's-
because I just watched the Spring Breakers last week. Actually,
It-
I think right before you gave Aggro Drift a rating. Honestly,
I think Aggro Drift probably took less time to film than Trash Humpers. I think
that's fun.
it's more of a shitpost movie than Trash Humpers, actually.
Yeah, he literally said he doesn't even know if it's a movie or not. It was just that's kind of disappointing because I saw Beach Bum just to get to know like Harmony Korine's film a little bit.
It's
and
not the one
I-
to watch if you want to
Oh,
get to know
really?
his film. That's like
Yeah.
the least like his other films, I would say.
Because I actually kind of liked it. I liked the vibe. I liked the character, like just the random adventures you go through. When the shark showed up, that was kind of funny, despite the CG was really bad. But and then when I watching Argo Drift, and it was just like it's the same thing, rinse on repeat for like an hour and a half. I come in expected something like Kung Fury. I don't know
No.
why, but
No.
yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I think the people that were most disappointed by it are probably just people that are not super familiar with Harmony Korine. Like, I knew it was gonna be like at the very least interesting, and it was, but not in the same way that like a character piece is interesting, but in the way that it's interesting that he released that. um,
How was Travis Scott's acting in the film?
I don't think it really was acting.
Julius
That's
Caesar
the most
wrote the Bible.
unsurprising thing I've heard.
No, but literally though, I think Harmony Korine just he rented some infrared cameras and filmed him and his friends drinking for like a night, just having like hanging out at a mansion, and then put some weird music over top and figured it out in the editing process, of which I don't even know how involved he was in the editing process. But it seemed to be kind of like he was just dicking around. And
The music was the best part of the film for me. I kind of enjoyed the vibe of the music, but it's again, it's like the same thing runs on repeat, you know?
It's looped.
Yeah.
It wasn't scored for the film.
No. Yeah, he just said like, I just got the music. How do I put the film? Well, I don't know. You know?
He said that the composer just texted him a bunch of tracks, and that the composer never watched the movie.
Yes. Yes.
Funny.
Again,
Which
how
makes
do you think
it
that
makes
benefits
sense.
your film?
Well, here's the I don't think he was trying to make a movie anyway. He just kind of released like a low effort shit post.
Would you say that it's video gamey? Because that was something that
It's very
was
video
really kind of
gamey.
pushed. Like,
But
what about
not
it
like in a
exactly?
good way.
But what about it gives it? Because all I'm seeing about this movie is just the infrared. What about it exactly? Is it the perspective of the camera, how it's like over the shoulder?
No, it's video gamey in the sense that it's the dialogue sounds like it was written for a Japanese video game and then translated to English poorly.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
I would say that's kind of a terrible way of saying that.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's intent there too, which is kind of interesting. Like characters will just repeat the same lines like 10 times in a row, and just kind of they'll insist things about what they're doing more than they'll show things in kind of a Neil Breen fashion. You know how he's just he'll just come back and he'll say like, I'm hacking into the government systems and I'm the best hacker. So in Aggro Drift, instead it's like, I am the world's best assassin, and you just say that for like 80 minutes, and then there's another character that's like, I am a powerful demon, and they just keep saying these, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, but the novelty does wear off after like 20 minutes, and you're kind of just like left kind of entranced or zoned out, depending on what you're getting out of it. And
this
I mean,
this movie does sound funny though. I want to watch it just for some.
It is funny. It's funny, but it's also kind of like an endurance test.
Yeah. I wish it's just 10 minutes long, you know?
It could have been a music video easily. It could have just been a music video.
Will we ever get Adam and Pal's hashtag manhole?
I don't know. Probably not.
Damn. You said there was like a good riff.
Maybe. I know, but I'd like to do ones that I haven't seen.
Damn.
Yeah, just a very quick interjection. Like, Adam, do you prefer Midnight Audience more than the Fantasia audience?
Depends on the movie, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think, like, I missed hashtag manhole in Montreal. And I was like, I think it might make a really good, like, a cinema experience, you know?
Yeah, if hashtag manhole was like a Midnight Madness movie and everybody there was fully like conscious about what it was, then that could be fun.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd address. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I was saying I thought I should address a quick elephant in the room. Why were there 2 Aether Muses there before one disappeared? Because I tried logging in one time and it didn't work, and then I
Okay.
logged in another time and
Aether Muse,
Unfriended.
I didn't notice.
I am dying to ask you this question.
Well-
Were you disappointed by Goodbye Volcano High?
in truth, I knew. You have a point, Adam. I actually got banned.
I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm curious.
It's okay. It's fine. You were right. I'm just saying you were right. It does. Here's a funny story. I actually got banned from the co-op server for criticizing the game.
Oh no, that sucks.
Wow.
The co-ops. There's a the co-op was that's the name of the.
That's the name of the company.
Yeah,
Wait.
I forgot.
I looked up the developer. They only did mobile games before Goodbye Volcano High.
It could fit on a mobile. It could fit on a phone easily.
What did you
It's
say
not-
to criticize the game that got you banned?
That it just felt like nothing.
I mean, it's not. That's a valid criticism.
That's a correct criticism.
It's like at a certain point, they're gonna have to wonder why their trailer has like 600,000 views and 10 people bought their game and nobody even knew it came out.
Nice.
Right?
Didn't
At a
help
certain,
it didn't help that it. Oh, sorry.
like there's 100% there's more downloads of Snoot Game. Like even though that's had like a couple years to exist, like I don't think it's ever gonna have more. Like nobody's talking about it. Why did they release it like between Baldur's Gate 3 and the new Bethesda game?
Starfield and also Armored Core 6. And also Armored Core 6. And
Yeah,
not
why-
to mention this.
Why
this-
did they choose now? Like that's the dumbest time to release it. You wanna release it when nobody's talking about anything. It's like this was just a big fucking scam.
That
Like
just
if
makes me think
if
of
they don't
the-
even care about like selling the copy, this just seems like tax fraud or something. Like it seems like just some big money laundering scheme. Like I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Oh, me.
You or Olivia?
Oh,
I don't know if what was.
You go.
I think I was gonna say first of all that double Aether Muse was an unfriended moment right there.
Oh, ooh, scary.
The glitch just tight.
Mhm.
Dang.
Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, like a fucking sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn came out, and I didn't even notice because they
Mhm.
released it the same fucking day as like Elden Ring, and it's like
Yeah.
that's
There's
such
something
a
with that
shit
franchise.
idea.
Yeah.
It's just like when they released that Winnie the Pooh movie at the same time as like the last Harry Potter film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when,
I feel like video
Or like
games
Collateral
more.
Beauty, it was like Force Awakens. That
Video
movie.
video games, I think, way more heavily rely on like social media, word of mouth too. So you want to be extra careful about that.
you know what sucks? So I think on the one of the weeks in October, there's like 3 games coming out that all interest me, which is Sonic Superstars, Spider-Man 2, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. But they're all coming out the same week, and I just have to pick which ones to buy and stuff.
I would just like. I wonder how much freedom you have to just like release your game a week early if you really want to. You know.
They Liza P just released their game a day early because they were like, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And it's a fun surprise.
Also,
Oh, sorry, go.
one of the games I've been playing recently, which also had a kind of a weird release time, was Gunbrella. I don't know if anybody's heard of that
Oh, yeah.
before.
I saw you
Yeah.
on the
Is it
Discord,
good?
on Livia's Discord server about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's basically like if you mixed in Celeste with a gun. That's also an umbrella.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a-
a platformer?
Yeah, it's
Sounds
like a
fun.
it's like a pseudo Metrovania thing, although it's not. I wouldn't really consider it like super, like exactly like a Metrovania, but like there's places that you can travel to, whatever. But the game's really fun. I like the controls, although they do get a little bit to get used to, but it is a pretty fun time. I would give the game probably like a 7 out of 10 or something.
Sorry, I went to the Steam page of Goodbye Volcano High, and most of the reviews, it's very positive right now, which is kind of interesting. But the first one that showed up for me was a review, thumbs down, not recommended, and the review is, I want to give every character a swirly. I like that review.
Funny.
Aether Muse, you wanted to say
I
more?
I was also gonna say one more thing. I want to promote an artist that I really like
Mm-hmm.
that actually drew this profile pic that I have of Velverine with a moon man in her hand. And this artist is called in no spaces Last Crystal Dragon with a K.
Mm-hmm.
And her art is great. And I've also subbed to her on Patreon, and her
Mhm.
art's really good. A
Dope,
bunch of
dope.
Spyro stuff.
Is it the one in your on your thumbnail thing?
Yep, Crusoe.
That looks dope. Are they holding? What are they holding?
An MTV VMA, like
Oh,
a moon man.
nice, nice.
She's
I forgot
holding a
about
moon
that.
man. I'll put my hand down.
Sure. Aether, or sorry, BC 467. Hello.
Okay, well, I'm gonna turn my camera on for a brief sec, but I'll turn it
Sure.
off in a minute. Because you remember last hangout I did like that shitty pickled soda that I drink? Well, I found another
Yes.
one.
What's wrong with you?
I decided I
You
this might be
enjoy
a-
this.
because I like humiliating myself in this way, but I found this one called Unicorn Yak, and it's although this
Oh,
one
God.
is just
It's
although the
surely
flavor
it's like it tastes sugary or something, right?
it just says it's raspberry orange, but I'm gonna taste test it and see how it
Okay.
goes again.
I don't think they're
Why
doing a
is it
disgusting
blue?
vomit flavor. I think they're doing just a good.
Okay,
funny
this one is
picture.
okay. This
Yeah,
is
that's
not a
what
bad flavor at all. I thought it'd be funny. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound like gross flavor. It just sounds like a shitpost name.
Wait, what flavor? What's the flavor?
Unicorn Yak.
As in
That's the name
vomit.
of it. But the actual flavor is just raspberry orange cream. So
Yeah. Oh.
Oh
It's
my
okay.
god! So I'm just
Purple.
like
It
I'm
looks like
reading.
grape.
Now I'm kind of just like I'm on this page looking at the positive reviews here, and I'm just like, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on here with the like.
Do
I'm
you
I'm
think-
genuinely trying to understand the positive reviews here.
Do you think there were bots?
You need to have a legal copy of the game, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, for
Maybe-
Steam,
maybe
it shows the
flavor.
amount of hours you've played. So one person with 4 hours playtime said 20 out of 10 heart, and that was their whole review. Thumbs up, recommended.
Okay.
It seems like the average of at least the first page of recommended reviews, it seems like the average playtime is like 7 hours or something. But yeah, I think it looks like there was I don't know what's going on here. I wonder how
backed
these
a
are
game
filtered,
on,
and I wonder it. Oh, here we go. And it also says if you received the product for free. That's really interesting. That's a cool thing
Yeah,
to
it
include.
does.
Wow.
And it also tells
interesting.
you like who refunded, so
Yeah. That's a very cool way to curate user reviews on a website. I never
and how long they played it for.
Yeah, that's a very intelligent way to do it. Nobody. I mean, Steam reviews get looked at when people are buying things on the Steam store, I guess, but like, people don't look up Steam reviews generally as like an aggregate, like they do for Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Excuse me,
I just look at Steam reviews in the hopes I find something funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there
That's
are some funny ones. Like there was one I saw on like that new Star Wars game that was like a complete disaster that said this game runs about as well as Brendan Fraser and the Whale. That was
Jedi
worth a
Survivor?
chuckle. Jedi Survivor, yeah. More like
Right.
GPU Survivor.
I
Do you
just
think they ever patched that game?
which
Yeah,
game?
they did. They did finally patch it earlier this month, so you can play
Yeah.
it now
Earlier
properly.
this month, it was broken for so long.
Which game?
then.
I mean,
The new
Star
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 Wars
Wars
game just
Jedi
came out.
Survivor. It was
Oh.
a game that was like basically unplayable when it released.
hey, Cyberpunk is now fully fixed apparently with its 2.0 update. I'm still
Yeah.
gonna play it, but
Oh,
You know
Yeah,
what would be
Steve,
really messed up?
Cyberpunk 2
If
came
they-
out.
yep, just came out yesterday. The DLC comes out in a few
Sorry,
days.
what
but,
came out?
The update, the 2.0 update for Cyberpunk.
Oh,
So
Cyberpunk.
basically, the new police system entirely.
Oh, what?
So yeah, actually has a police system now. It's like GTA basically.
Are they gonna update it so that it's like somebody makes a video like the No Man's Sky thing? Like,
Oh,
I
what,
think they're
like
just
Chrome
hoping
Cat?
people forgive them. Like,
yeah, it really,
I mean,
like, they really
apparently-
fucked up.
They did, but apparently this DLC,
big time.
every single article I've been reading about it is saying like it's one of their best DLC, which is fine because they're usually really well known for making pretty high quality DLC. But like, I don't know. It's $30. It's their only DLC. I'm just gonna wait. I already put too much time into Cyberpunk, and I don't think it's enough to justify putting so much time back into it for myself.
Yeah,
You know what?
free
I
update,
really like-
and I mean, like, they better just fucking update it for free forever. Like, they broke
Yeah.
records with sales, which is really
The
funny.
2.0 update is free, but the DLC, I mean, the DLC is $30, but the update that comes with most, like the police system and stuff, is free. So
You know what? I was about to. I really like the MK games, but then like this year, I just
Mortal Kombat.
didn't. Yeah, this year I just didn't stomach to buy it because like there was a lot of characters that it looks clearly that they have like a fighting style and everything, and then they just like refused to release them on DLC. It was very clear what they were trying.
Mortal Kombat just kind of feels like a mess at this point. I mean, I
Yes.
guess that's probably why they went back to like Mortal Kombat 1, like the new release, so that
So
you have like
I
the
kinda-
original characters and stuff. But like, I remember because like doesn't one of the older Mortal Kombat games have like the Joker in it or something?
well,
Like,
that
yeah,
was
they
Mortal
do.
Kombat 11. That had that as DLC, and then there was Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which had the
Right.
Joker as a playable character. But that was just such a bad game because it didn't have a mature rating, so everything was so lackluster in terms of like actual creative style. Because for me personally, it's a series that I can always come back to because I think it's just one of the most stylish and flashy fighting games.
I honestly find that so hilarious that wait, it wasn't rated like M mature.
No, not Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe because DC
Ugh.
didn't want a mature rating because Mortal Kombat is
They
really
censored
associated
it,
with
yeah.
insane violence. If you go online and look at the fatalities for this game, it's some of the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life in a video game. It's literally them just like punching and then they go like, I win. And it's
I just find it hilarious that the series that was responsible for the creation of the ESRB does not even get an amateur rating like in a later series. Like that's just kind of
No.
really
Well,
funny
now
to me.
they do. Now that
I mean, the
every game is-
mainline
yeah.
Mortal Kombats
Yeah.
are like
All
M-rated,
amateur and
obviously.
Yeah.
I
But,
should
like,
go.
And
me-
the fucking fatalities in like mainline Mortal Kombat
They're
are
so
still
good.
like
They're
ridiculous.
just so creative. And
They're
they
very
just-
stupid.
yeah, it just shows that they're having so much fun with the tech that they work that
Ed
they're working
Boon
with.
is the kind of guy.
Has anybody ever watched the videos of like the behind the scenes where they make the Foley in those fatalities?
Yeah,
It's pretty entertaining
I
to
had to
watch.
try and recreate that for a sound design class that I'm
Yeah.
taking.
Like
And
like
I-
if
I've
it,
seen
used a
several
watermelon.
fatalities that made me say that's not how the human body works.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're so over the top. Like they literally just like take like wet rags and just like smush them together. And
Yeah.
like for bone breaking, they like literally open up like a bell pepper, and
Yeah.
they just like put
That's
like
fun.
effects on it instead. Yeah,
Dude,
I
for
would highly.
footsteps in snow, the best thing is you use a leather bag, or not a leather bag, but a really worn, I forget the material, but you
Okay.
just fill it with sand and you crunch it, and it's a perfect recreation of like boots crumbling down on like really soft snow.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
highly, I would
MK
highly
really-
recommend checking out that behind the scenes for like
Yeah.
how they make the sounds. I'll try
It's
to find a
great.
video of it.
Yeah, I think MK was really saved by Ed Boon, you know, because he's the kind of guy from everything I learned. He's the kind of guy that
Sniper Wolf has been brought
can have fun with his game. You know, he doesn't take his game way too seriously. You know,
Yeah,
So-
I think that like he is great. He's a great person to represent it, considering he was the co-creator. But I do think that there's not I think like the studio
I
that
gotta
makes
pee, I'll
it,
be right
NetherRealm
back.
Studios. I all good. And if any of you want to interrupt, I just love Mortal Kombat because it's just such a
oh please.
it just impacted my life because it just was the series that was like, wow, a super violent series. This is the series that's like, whoa, I'm such a cool kid. But everyone thought I was a fucking freak, but I just thought it was so stylish.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's like NetherRealm Studios is a pretty fucking huge studio in Boston. Like they have like 300 employees, and I don't think enough of them get recognition. And I think I'm only saying that just because I have a friend who thankfully got an internship there and is still working there. And I just love it when more people in the industry get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah.
But like have you ever seen the Combat Cast? That's something that they do.
Yeah,
I think that's great. Like I love that they constantly do that. They didn't do a lot for this upcoming game because the release window was so short. It was like only 3 months, which was insane. But it's so much fun. And I bought the premium
thanks
edition
for
for
the
this
link.
game. I
Yep.
was like, oh, I'll take a look at that. But I bought the premium edition of this game because I suckered in because the trailers looked so good, and I'm a sucker for really good trailers.
Yeah.
And I think it's really fun. I think just the combat itself and the fighting mechanics is really fun, but it's all the game has to offer. There's only story mode, online, and the invasion mode, which is like a top-down, basically almost Mario Party kind of esque game, where instead of dice, you just go from one link to the other. And I'm just like, it's just more fights with modifiers and stuff, which is fine, but it doesn't get interesting enough.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just tiring. And I'm perfectly fine. I am, of anything, very happy to give more than $100 to that company because it's still an extremely polished game. The fact they made it on Unreal Engine 4 is amazing. Or that's their first game on Unreal Engine 4. All their games before have been on Unreal Engine 3.
What game? What game?
Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh yeah. Well,
you know what Sorry, you know what I really missed about like I'm sorry to interrupt, just very quickly interject. You know what I really missed, like this game doesn't have like just like weird character design. I really liked the MK10, I think. Where like they actually have, or even like the second generation in 3D MK, where like they have a lot of like stupid and weird design, like
I completely agree with that. It was clear that sorry, go.
Yeah, like Shu Hao, Devora, those are like really, really funny. And it's like it's clear like whoever designing them is like having fun,
Yeah.
Hello,
I think that like for me at least, when it came to that era of games, they were so prevalent on just like trying to get an original idea and thought, and so they were just pumping out so many characters, and I think there were so many that like lost any idea of personality or memorability.
Yeah, that's why they made Armageddon to kill everyone. That was funny.
But like, and I'm glad that there are so many characters back in this new game. But I will say in the story, none of them have any background or anything, and so it's so feels kind of pointless. And I don't know if any of you know this, but for some reason, this franchise loves to just bring in celebrities to voice actors.
Oh, I was going to mention this actually because I have a video I'm going to send in the chat. It's Megan Fox's voice lines. I put the link in the chat. It's so fucking funny if you want to listen to how bad her voice lines sings.
Megan Fox plays a vampire character called Natara, which is fine. I get it. Jennifer's body, whatever. But it is insane how bad her performance is. She stands out ridiculously from everyone else.
Who is this actor again?
Megan
Fox. She's in the new Mortal Kombat. I just put a link in chat if you want to listen to her voice lines.
It's
hold on.
Actually insane how bad, like, from any interaction of what you're telling, of what you're actually seeing in the game and the actions they're doing, you can tell from every other actor they are putting into their mind, oh, I'm in this scenario where I'm putting up my
I didn't even know. So I saw a clip of that on Twitter and people were making fun of it. I didn't even know that was Mortal Kombat or Megan Fox when I saw it.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. But like, she just like is not. She's just speaking the lines. There's nothing else about it. It's literally she's just talking. And it's really frustrating for some reason.
And her character design doesn't look like Megan Fox at all. You think you have Megan Fox voicing your actor. You might as well just motion capture her,
Yeah, there's a skin that has like her hair that does, I will admit, make her more look like it. But like, again, it doesn't really matter. And all characters look pretty good. There was a fucking meme I saw yesterday. It was just a guy screaming, just saying like, why are all these characters so fucking hot? Like this bad guy, Shang Tsung, this evil sorcerer, looks like he's 24 and can be the top lead on Pornhub. What the fuck is this?
Why are they getting mad at that again?
I don't know. I mean, I think all the characters look really good, especially for like them resetting the timeline and like just having them all be different ages. They all look really high quality. Like some of the characters, one of them, Tanya, like had total redesign, and I think her actual character and face looks unbelievable. Like it just looks really good. So yeah, I don't know. I just like Mortal Kombat. It's very fun. I've already played like 20 hours.
great.
Megan Fox is the worst part.
In my childhood, I really enjoyed Dead or Alive 3, and then
What's that?
It's a
Sorry, what's that?
It's a
Dead or Alive
game that's another fighting game.
Yeah.
You ever thought about doing the Dead or Alive Extreme series where it's just all the female characters doing volleyball and shit?
No,
What would he get out of that?
no.
He would act. No.
Oh,
he
sorry,
would,
Dead or Alive. Okay.
Was
But
this
it has
Dinner?
it not only has volleyball, but it has gambling.
Oh, I know that game now.
That's
So-
great.
It's great.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can customize all your bikinis. It's
'Cause
everything you
as we
want.
all know, Adam loves women. Like,
Absolutely.
Adam, was this before or after you discovered you were gay?
Well, I played the fighting game.
Adam is a real pussy destroyer.
I didn't play the beach volleyball game. I played the fighting game,
Oh, that makes sense.
which also,
Maybe the
I
game
mean,
manager.
which also has some of that in it, I guess. But I don't know. I just liked the snow physics.
I was
Let me ask you: have you seen the Cat Icarus video on like video game commercials?
No.
There's one of the ones that he featured was for one of the Dead or Alive games, and the commercial that he showed was just like two dudes that were like talking about what they liked about the game, but they were like two like very nerdy guys, and it was pretty clear that like they couldn't really talk about the game itself, and they were like hinting at the fact that it was like the I don't want to say it out loud.
Sexy
Yeah, exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned
And-
snow physics, and that just reminded me of a game coming up called Black Myth Wukong that has like
Oh, yeah.
the craziest snow physics I've seen.
What?
Yeah.
It's
Can you show me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Let me
But
pull
yeah,
it up.
That commercial I just thought was really funny because it's like they're really like not hiding exactly why people play these games. Most people, at least.
Did you guys see all the Xbox documents that were?
I briefly saw a couple of them. I didn't read the whole thing. I know that they probably
Okay,
Microsoft
pause.
wanted to buy Nintendo, but they scrapped that idea or something.
People are saying that, but they didn't. The only thing that was actually said about buying Nintendo was that Phil Spencer said in an email, at the end of an email, if the opportunity aligned, it would be great for their portfolio. That's the most fucking generic business thing you could possibly say if you want to capture a company. They're clearly after multiple companies. Like,
They're
that's
not going to
all-
buy Nintendo. They're absolutely not going to buy.
Absolutely not. No one will buy Nintendo. I would be shocked if any single company went up and bought Nintendo.
Why
And had
would
the
anyone buy
balls to do
Nintendo?
that. Exactly.
I probably played Mortal Kombat the earliest in life. Like when I was, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're
When I-
fine.
When I was 3 years old, I had Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance on the
Oh, your
PS2.
show. Okay. Olivia, can you
Oh.
just send me a link? Because I can't see the resolution. Like,
Oh,
that's
it's
a
not-
very low resolution thing for me right now.
I was
Yeah, maybe I could make a clip or something. But
just
it
just send me,
Chat.
just send me
does-
send it in
I'll-
chat or
I'll be right
something,
back. I
and
gotta
then
do
I'll
something real
click on the timestamp or something. Sorry
I
for
was-
interrupting.
But yeah, like this shot right here, this like hole in the snow is not like pre-rendered. That's like something the game made.
Tell me what the timestamp is, and I'll find the video and I'll.
Sure, I'm
see it.
looking for a good timestamp.
so when you think about it,
Here we go. Here we
Alright.
go.
sorry, when you think about it, I was 3 years old when I discovered jiggle,
247.
When you discovered what?
jiggle physics with like the
Mm-hmm.
boobs.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that exists in real life, so whatever.
My mum bought a PS2 on 9/11.
I think
Nice.
it's exaggerated in games though.
It is exaggerated, and I mean, depending on the game.
Yeah, around the 240 mark. The
Okay, 240
snow
mark,
physics
let's
is
see.
like crazy.
I'm gonna
She
look at
told me
these
the
snow
story of
physics.
it. I shit you not. She actually did buy it on that day, September 11th, 2001, and I was in
PS2?
Yeah, we were in Dixon's, and I was a baby, so I obviously didn't remember it. And that was the day 9/11 happened.
Yeah, right.
You know
That's
that
cool
in,
looking.
I read somewhere on Reddit that apparently the turtle scene from Master of Disguise was
not
filmed during like as 9/11 was happening. Apparently,
Yes,
I
that is
heard
true.
I heard that is kind of exaggerated, and
I
that
heard it.
right?
Oh, sorry.
I think that there was somebody that's I don't know that said that it wasn't on 9/11, but that when they like got back to like reshooting something that happened after 9/11, that the turtle guy made sure to like have some sort of I don't know like group.
Moment of silence.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it might have been exaggerated. I don't know.
So I remember reading an article. I forget who the actor was that was actually in the turtle suit. But there was an
Was it
article
like
that,
Steve Martin?
Dana Carvey.
yes, and he said that it was true, and they said they were shooting the film and they just took a moment of silence. But he did. I can't remember if he said that it was during that scene, but it was during when they filmed the movie.
My favorite 9/11 factoid is that there's a Paris Hilton sex tape that starts out with like a tribute to 9/11, which is
That's pretty cool.
I just got back here after doing a fight something. What do you guys talking about 9/11 and Paris Hilton? What the fuck?
yeah. Her sex tape had like a tribute to the people who died on 9/11 on it.
Okay,
That's what it
I like
started off-
I like
off
the I like the
Sorry,
snow physics being affected by the enemy's like long distance attack.
Uh-huh.
I like
I'm
that.
very impressed with like how this game looks.
It's
so
a Dark
far.
Souls. It's a Souls type game.
Man,
Yeah.
I wish I
It
had
kinda
better
like a
PC gear for.
Soulsy game, but
Okay.
it might actually be worth it for you to react to like the trailer for a highlight or something.
Yeah, maybe.
It's the
I'm more into the weapons affecting the snow physics than the like walking was fine. I think
It's impressive for what it is. It does have that look to it where it's like kind of disappearing a bit, but like
yeah,
I haven't, like,
it's
played a game
interesting.
with snow physics that tried that hard.
Yeah, that's
These are the types of things that I will never experience because I never have like the best PC gear for PC gaming. Like, I'm
move
more,
to Canada, you'll see snow.
I'm more talking about like how
I know.
how highly advanced these graphics are now. Because like I'm the type of person that will just be fine with like something on the Switch or something. But
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah, but
amazing.
in like 10 years, it'll cost like $2 to have something that runs this well.
No,
I
that's
hope
the
so.
thing.
But
in
like
10 years.
there has been an issue lately with like modern AAA titles where like they're not optimizing for like lower end PC gear anymore. Like there was that video that
No.
Charlie released about like what was it, that Gollum game where apparently like the lowest recommended PC specs was like much higher than what the average person usually has. And for a game that like nobody even thinks it looks good,
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah, who cares?
Forspoken had the same issue.
Yeah.
I mean,
for-
with
It's optimizing you what like the games are made on like beefy machines, right?
To begin
And
with,
then
Would you count the Yakuza games AAA? Because I really like those games.
yeah.
By the way,
Probably.
I would say
I've
they're
watched.
AAA.
I mean,
Internet
it's Sega,
Historian's
right? I
fucking
would assume
video
so.
Yeah.
on Forspoken. Holy shit, the writing is so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Not just the dialogue writing, just the writing is like really embarrassing. You can like predict how the whole story goes.
more like
Internet
forced
Historian.
woken.
boom, got him.
Oh, one game I wanted you to do a reaction trailer. Remember Getting Over with Bennett Fondy, Adam?
Yes. I would like to revisit that with a controller.
Well,
It has controller compatibility.
That's-
now.
yeah.
that same guy has a new game coming out next year called Baby Steps, and it's like basically
Oh, yeah.
co-op, but it's like think of it as like Uncharted, but with like the same controls as Getting Over It, basically, because it's like a third-person action game where you keep going to places in a linear fashion, but like the controls are different.
Mm-hmm.
Everything started to make sense when I found out Bennett Foddy made QWOP.
Oh.
Oh,
Did it really?
I didn't know that beforehand.
I never knew that. That's amazing.
It's like, oh, he made QWOP. Okay, that explains everything.
Wow. Yeah, I have like low expectations when it comes to game and graphics. Like I said, I'll play anything if it's on the Switch, assuming that it runs fine. But like,
I will say nowadays, like most PC gamers, I feel like, or at least for me and most people I talk to, DLSS is like the biggest fucking help to any PC game. Like Cyberpunk when it first came out, if you weren't running DLSS, which is
What is
basically
it?
NVIDIA, it's basically NVIDIA's AI frame generation solution.
Oh,
So it's deep learning super sampling. So it's a form of.
but then the game's not art
anti-aliasing.
anymore if you use AI.
Well, no, what it
I'm just
is
kidding.
that that's funny. But basically what it does is that it uses it to duplicate frames, so it helps boost your frame rate without losing any visual clarity, and it also is just a pretty decent anti-aliasing method. But like for most games, it is, especially nowadays, if you want to run it at like high settings, it is essential to get it anywhere above 30 FPS.
I just had a funny thought. So you know how like sometimes when you like do that AI generated thing on like already like created images, and then like as you run it, like it becomes like more creepy and distorted or something. I like to I would like to imagine what that would look like if that was in the DLSS. Like you just have like a couple frames that just like look creepy, and then all of a sudden it's back to normal. That'd be hilarious.
I'd be very curious.
I need to grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
I'll do it.
Yeah, but like for me personally, I don't really like games looking graphically amazing or anything is not really what I'm looking for when it comes to games. I just want to play something that I'll enjoy, and that's kind of why like I don't like I'm not saying like it's a bad thing that these games are trying to like look great or anything, but like for me that's not really a selling point.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
think that's totally justifiable.
Yeah,
Like for me,
I played.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, like I played what was the game called? Near Automata on the Switch.
Oh
And
yeah.
despite that being 30 FPS, it still looks pretty good for what it is. And I was still able to play the game and enjoy it. And I think I would have gotten the same experience if I played it on like high quality settings on like a PC. But I wasn't really looking to play the game just to check out the graphics. I wanted to play the game for like the story and the gameplay and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think the Switch version did enough like it satisfied me in that case. So
yeah, it's like it's every gamer has their own preference to what they want to experience, whether that's frame rate or quality. Like for me, I feel like I will only put on max settings if I'm playing a first person game. And the only reason why is because I play first person games as immersive as I can. So like no HUD.
Yeah.
Usually on hard difficulty because I want to get a better experience of what they want as a proper challenges in this world, and how can I utilize the world as much as I can to beat the game, because that's what hard difficulties should be. And so like that's what I'm doing with Dying Light 2 right now. I have no HUD and I'm playing it on hard with the color grading being much darker, so nights are basically impossible to go through without a flashlight, like real life. And it's so much more fun, and I'm really like exploring a lot more aspects of ways I can utilize firecrackers and shit like that, because I literally cannot go out at night without dying. It's very tough.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about the immersion aspect of that. I guess that makes more sense.
Again, like that's just for me, like for Red Dead.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2, I do not play that game in third person. For me, it is just impossible. I don't have a reticle and I have no HUD because I'm a psychopath. And so because I want to do iron sights and free aim fire, because I want to feel like how I want to actually perfect my aiming, and I want to use all the systems to their advantage and get a real system. And like my first experience, I was like with Red Dead, I was like, yeah, this is a good game, but I really had to like sink my teeth in it. And I think if Adam like really took his time with it, I think he may enjoy it, but I know he definitely doesn't have the time for it, and he probably wouldn't want to go through that again, which is totally fine because the shooting is the most repetitive part of that game. But like if you do first person with no reticle, it really switches up how the combat works.
Yeah.
Well,
Whenever I hear people say stuff like, "Oh, this game looks bad. It looks like a PS2 game or something like that," I just kind of roll my eyes, like, Yeah, I don't.
I was going to make a point about this.
As
Actually,
if 8-bit games aren't one of the biggest indie revenues today. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
what
I was
the
gonna
fuck?
make a-
I think it makes sense if the game is like trying to be all like realistic and like super graphically heavy. Like I think it's a fair comparison or a fair criticism for something like that Gollum game, because
Yeah.
especially because it's like a $60 game or something like that. Like
Yeah, it
at
was
the
a
very
full
least, I would expect that if that's what you're selling. But for like if a game wants to look like something that you would see on like PlayStation 2 or something, like I don't care. Like if the game's good, then it's good.
What
Yeah,
about?
I was going to make that point. I was going to make a point about this. Like, I think you can honestly make bad graphics work if it's like a stylistic choice in a lot of ways. Like, there's this. You guys know about that Bloodborne PSX thing that exists. That's on.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
It's so good.
Yeah, I know the person that made it. Actually,
I follow them
like,
on Twitter. It's
Yep.
a trans woman that's has like a bunny persona and stuff, and
yeah.
she made the PSX Bloodborne thing. She's working on Bloodborne card right now, and I figured that like that's a good way of using bad graphics as an intentional design choice. And like, I'm fine with good graphics in a game as long as the gameplay is good, because I'm always gameplay first, graphics second, and that's always what a game should be.
I want
But,
more indie games to use low poly that aren't horror games.
Does Adam know about Bloodborne PSX?
I'll ask him when he comes back. But there's another game. There was a 3D platform.
Adam
on my
didn't
Sw-
even like regular Bloodborne, so
I know, which is a shame.
Do you think you'll like Bloodborne kart though?
Bloodborne? What?
I don't know what his opinion on racing games is.
Actually,
Well-
wait a minute. Aren't those games made in Unity?
Oh no, that's. I think so.
They're gonna roll it back. They know they're not gonna like get away with that shit.
I hope so,
Actually,
but like,
wait. You know,
No, they
I-
like have to. There's no way they're getting away with it. All they're doing is like fucking lampooning their own sales.
Well, I was gonna say though, that if you wanted, like, there are two games that do like the whole low polygon graphics thing that are not horror games. There's one 3D platformer that's like $5 called Lunistis on the Switch, which is a 3D platform that's pretty linear and pretty short, but it's like $5 and it has like PS1 style graphics. But it's a fucking awesome game because it's really short and sweet. And the other one I was going to mention, there's this game that's inspired by Jet Set Radio called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and it's the graphics of that are pretty stylistic and stuff.
The game I'm playing right now is on Unity, and the devs were one of many people who were like, "Yeah, fuck you."
So
we're
is
gonna
the
delete
whole-
our game if you don't
The
like
whole
push us back.
so
Yeah, the thing is, that was a joke.
I
They
know
were
it was a
literally
joke,
just
but, like,
joking. The Cult of Lamb Twitter account like shit posts.
Oh, what
all
are they
the
joking
time,
about?
And the media didn't understand that
what'd they say?
they were gonna like, if the Unity fee goes through, they're just gonna delete Cult of the Lamb off of Steam. It was literally just a joke.
Yeah. So my understanding is they had a fee per purchase, but now they're changing it to per install for no reason.
Yeah, and like
That's
you
so
could literally,
dumb.
like,
Why?
yeah, and you could literally like install it and uninstall it and then reinstall it, and that will like cause a fee or something.
That's the
There's
dumbest
been
thing in
a
the world. Why would they not
huge-
want to just? They could just raise
Okay,
their prices
well,
on the purchase.
Let's
One.
also remember that the CEO of Unity right now was also a former CEO for EA. and there is-
One of the
Yeah.
most hated EA CEOs at
And
that.
Specifically, there's a quote that everyone's been putting around there on the internet where he apparently wanted to charge players like $1 per reload in a shooter or something like that.
I'm sorry. Wait. What?
$1 sounds
Yeah.
insane, but
Yeah,
Charging
but
anything
like
for
a $1
reloading
fee to
shooter
like
is-
reload your gun or something.
then just fucking
I-
just do arcade games. That's the same shit. Just
I mean,
but
yeah, I
but then
mean,
you can't put them in everyone's house is the problem.
I
I'm gonna open a
could
beer.
And
genuinely-
nobody goes out to play games in the arcades. anymore.
Depth
Like
perception.
I could
Video games,
legitimately,
at least.
if that were to be a reality, I feel like I feel like I could see that in a sense of like if you're in a battle royale and you need more ammo and you're out of ammo, you could like just buy quick coins in a match, so you don't have to like go into
that
the
makes
menu.
me uncomfortable too.
I'm sure, yeah, it is, but like it's fucking ridiculous. Like the fucking I think
it's more horrible when it's for a game that's not free to play. Like free to play can get away with that for all I care, but Like
Yeah,
this
for
is
a
the
game
whole
that's $70, it's a little insulting.
yeah. Like that was the whole thing with like Battlefront 2 a couple of years ago, because EA just is always doing this shit all the time.
How much
I
money
will
do you
say-
think I'll spend on Let It Die when I start playing that?
Let It Die?
Yeah, how much money?
What's that?
It's a Suda 51 game that is pay to
Ah.
win, and it's like Dark Souls, and apparently like you think you're fine, and then when you hit like the 13th floor or something, there's some gigantic unfair difficulty curve that makes everybody like spend $100 is apparently what it's
Would
like.
you say Japanese games are better with the microtransaction than the American ones?
I wouldn't know, honestly. I would have no idea.
Wait, what's it called again? Sorry.
It's called Let It Die, and it's on my list for a while, and I want to play it while the servers exist. I don't know if there's any reason why the servers would stop existing anytime soon, because it's on PC, it's on Steam and PS4. And I just want to, like, I've had the itch to just play every Suda 51 game, but that one I've kind of been like, well, maybe I'll beat the Souls games first or something, because it seems like a Souls type game. Apparently,
Someone
like
in my chat earlier today was saying that like Suda and Sweary are doing like a thing together.
yeah, they are. But I don't know.
Which
Like, I
sounds
mean,
fascinating.
yeah.
What the hell is
Um,
this game?
Do
Davis.
you guys think Will Smith's gonna get any movies after Emancipation?
Oh, I don't know.
Which is-
Probably, yeah. Davis, you raised your hand. What's up?
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're all good. We were talking about. I forgot, we were just talking about different art styles, and I was thinking of a question for you.
Mhm.
But I know you're not like the biggest fan of Kojima, and I don't know the full extent of what you played of his library. I haven't played much of his library. Death Stranding was literally the first game of his I fully played, and I personally really enjoyed it, but I
Okay.
enjoyed it for other reasons. But have you played PT?
I love PT. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Because I was looking through, because I was looking through your plays through channel, and I didn't see if there was any video on it. But I was curious of what your opinion on was.
Yeah, I think
it.
there's like an unlisted video on the main gaming channel.
Yes.
There was
Yeah,
there was an
look like
edit made at some point, but I don't remember if it's unlisted or not. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a really like inspirational game. You know,
gonna
you
ask,
wouldn't
you
have
know, there's
fucking
there's-
Layers of Fear without PT.
Yeah.
PT still looks better than most games I see these days.
Yeah, it does.
I would agree with that.
I didn't get a PS4 until like 2015, so I missed a chance to get PT. So
I think PT is like one of the most interesting art pieces in terms of like making a game something that's like something that you engage with in a particular way. I think it's crazy that like it took people like over a month collectively to figure out how to beat it. I think that's really cool.
I would have loved to have seen the Silent Hills Kojima game, but Konami are fucking assholes. Although I wonder though, Adam, didn't you say you wanted to do like the Metal Gear Solid collection that comes out next month?
I said that I want to do it, but not necessarily when the moment it's released. I mean, maybe I could.
Wait, it comes
We'll
out
see what
next month?
happens because comes
I don't
out
think
when?
It's gonna launch well.
October 24th. That's when it comes out.
Maybe I
I
should
just
put that
read
on my
about
calendar.
PS5.
I'll put that on my calendar, and we'll see what happens when we get to that date. Hold on.
Kojima got
Is it on
fired when he
PS5?
got Metal Gear Survive.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
I read an article today saying that it was on PC. It's locked at 1080p and 60 FPS, which is fine. But
They literally said that at least Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, it's literally just like the HD collection ports just ported
Yeah.
there. And then MGS1 is just like it's just an emulated version. And then I think they also have like the MS DOS original games into shitty NES ports as
I
like bonus
literally-
features.
I'm probably gonna buy that fucking collection because I do really want to play the Metal Gear Solid game. But I have this stupid emulation device I bought that has so many different ROMs. I've barely touched it, and I literally installed Metal Gear Solid on this just so I could have it. I have not touched this thing at all, but I'm probably gonna buy that collection because I want to play
Be
it
real,
properly.
did anyone even play Metal Gear Survive?
I watched my friend play it, and I was like, "Wow, this looks absolutely boring as hell." I'm so happy you bought this with your money.
Oh shit. dog shit.
Why did they remake the third game, Metal Gear Solid? I just remember they're
They're gonna remake it. I don't know, because that's considered the fan favorite for some reason.
The
I can
singer
agree
of
with
Snake
that, I
Eater
feel like.
was not happy because they're like not paying her apparently.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah, that's so weird. The licenses and rights and all that stuff over,
It's
because
just
that was the
very
entire
messy.
reason why they changed voice actors in the Silent Hill HD collection. You know, it's because they just like they didn't want to pay the voice actors like a fair compensation.
It's why the actors and writers are striking right now, because companies don't want to pay them fairly.
Hopefully that gets resolved soon. There was a rumor that I read somewhere that I couldn't even give you the source of, saying that maybe they're reaching a deal soon.
I looked on Twitter, so currently what they're saying is that they're making progress, but WJ specifically said today, hey, all writers, please come to the picket lines. We need to show the studios what's in stake, honestly. But they are making progress from what I'm aware.
I mean, they should. I don't know what it's so. The studios are being so annoying about this. Like
I mean,
the people
A24
that are hoarding the money, their lifestyles won't change if you just give other
Yeah.
people a fair wage. Like you're it's not even like, oh, my life's gonna get so much worse if I have to pay other people. It's like you literally won't notice it.
yeah.
It's literally
what's
just
really,
an imaginary amount of money at that point.
yeah. What's really kind of sad was that, like, I've been hearing a lot on like Discord, especially on YouTube, is like, yeah, well, those actors and writers, they make bad things, and they just like have a lot of money. But I was like, okay, I know a few friends who are kind of in the actor, but they were just extras. You know, they have other day job, like working as a waiter or waitresses, and then like they're getting affected by this situation too. And then like and then when the dialogue turns to that, no one want to say anything, you know.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just,
there's some people who've based their entire political identities on contrarianism, and when you find like an easy sort of shareable clickbait way to be contrarian without actually thinking about anything, then you can say something like, well, maybe writers don't deserve to get paid much because
Ugh.
this bad video game came out that I don't like. It's like, well, surely if you talk about media and you care enough about media to be calling something bad, then there's things that you also like, right? Because the writer's
Yeah.
strike, it's also affecting writers that you like,
Yeah.
right? So just because people create bad, that's like saying, like, oh, people shouldn't have rights because some people are bad. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because like I know friends who are like friends of friends who are affected by it. You know, even if even like work, you know, like not to dox myself, but like my majoring was like post production. You know, like
Mhm.
even post production, I know it's like being affected. I know like a lot, some of my colleagues, some of my friends, there was like layoffs because of the strike. You know, and it's just like it's a bad thing that's just affecting everyone, but it's something that needs to happen because like, you know, what you said about wealth inequality was like already a problem. So
I
it's
mean, I
just,
applaud any fucking industry that's able to strike. Like, the only reason they're striking is because they're like union, right? And so,
The car industry
like,
is getting on a strike right now with the United Auto Workers and
fucking
stuff.
the entire every like worker should be on strike right now. Like, we're facing serious shit,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
right? Like, every
There is that,
grocery
like-
store worker should be on strike right now. Like,
I would be on
they're
strike,
making
but I
record
can't do it right
profits
now
right
until
now. The
next-
grocery stores.
I'm in the grocery store industry. I would be on strike right now if I could, but
But
the
you
contract
can't.
doesn't end
Yeah,
till next
everybody's
year.
just kind of
so-
like complacent, and it's not unionized, so it's like,
What's
what do you
that
do?
what's that one billionaire that said that, hey, we need to hurt the economy and punish workers because of like that was like like a Australian billionaire that like sold houses, and he was like really like said we got to hurt the economy and get these workers back in shape and shit like that. Like
Ben
Yeah.
Shapiro.
No, I don't know who that was. I don't know if I've heard that quote, but I will say that it's kind of indicative of a larger idea that I've been thinking about, is that I think that a lot of ultra wealthy people are scared that if people are more financially secure, then they'll have more options, and that they won't feel compelled to be working those shitty jobs for shitty wages, right?
Yeah,
The
like you
idea
said,
is to trap people into like having a job as an absolute necessity with no other options. Um, the idea is to make people like to essentially force, like compel to the point where it's not even like a conscious choice anymore.
and also like I heard yesterday you're on the stream talking about like income, like basic income for everyone, and I dealt with a lot of like older people. A lot of the consensus they don't. A lot of the consensus from them that they don't like was like, hey, you're just creating bumps. You're just like creating
Yeah,
people
bums
who just
exist either way, and we would be spending less money on them if they were able to be housed.
yeah, and also just like the
Like
idea of
it's a
like
financial benefit for people in terms of how tax money is
exactly,
being spent, right? So
exactly.
it doesn't really the whole idea of like this weird moral retribution of like you shouldn't be allowed to be lazy because I have
Yeah,
to not be lazy. It's like, well,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
people are going to be lazy either way. It's just a
You're
matter of
right.
whether or not they're going to be starving to death, right?
Yeah, because sometimes, like, there were people like when you get also when you get unemployed for a long time, you naturally want to look for a job. Well, at least for me or some other people. So, like, you naturally want to look for a job because human beings need something to stimulate other than just like pure entertainment or like lust, right? So, like, you gotta find something that your true calling in a way, I
I
think.
feel like if I really wanted to, I could just have been living in my parents' basement this entire time and never have gotten a job. Like if I really wanted to, right? Like I think people are driven to do things with their lives, and even with basic income, the incentive structure is still there to improve your life and have not just your basic necessities met, but be able to afford more than that, right? The incentive is still there. Like to pretend as if, sure, there will be a lot of people that are just comfortable having their basic necessities met and don't want to work, and that's fine. But I think most people are, naturally driven to strive for a bit more than that. The reality that we face is that automation and AI, both, have been and will continue to replace our jobs at a growing exponential rate. So that's happening regardless of whether or not we implement universal basic income. So if we look at the population and the amount of people that don't have jobs and the amount of people that are homeless right now, are we as a society, are we perfectly comfortable saying like, oh yeah, let's look at this line here where of between homeless and just barely struggling to get by? Are we comfortable increasing that, like all the people that currently right now are working their asses off, like doing 2 or 3 jobs, like struggling to survive to support their family? We're comfortable with all of them just falling under into that category of like homeless? Like I don't think that's correct. I think that's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of, like there was just like the way people talk about AI, especially from like the right-leaning side, is just very, very stupid. They were just talking about like, "Ooh, wow, what if like they have their conscious, like Joe Rogan was like, what if AI is like self-conscious? It's like that's not the problem we
It
should be
is for a lot
talking
of
about.
people. It's
Yeah.
a problem for a lot of people.
So like, there's one thing. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, and this is kind of to do with
No,
what we're talking
please.
about.
Please,
But
please.
like, there's a
Sorry.
video by a YouTuber called The Act Man, and Adam, I don't know if you know about this, but he actually mentioned you in a video that he just did about
Oh, just
some
did.
hot takes on Starfield. It was a couple days ago.
Oh, did he include my Starfield reaction?
Yes, he did. It was about the
Nice.
pronouns.
Okay.
But he was talking about how it was one of I think Asmongold's. I think that's his name. But he was like, dude, if this is what he was talking about, if this is what this guy is worried about, just imagine what this is going to be the last thing we're going to have to worry about once they figure out, how to modify human DNA and how to like with full augmentation, cyberpunk level shit. Like it will not even matter. Pronouns are going to be the least of your worries, people.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I said in that live stream, like we're heading towards a much more like free to do whatever society. You know, like
It's
it's
just
people
it's-
to try and hold people to like weird traditionalist standards of how you have to present yourself or identify is
It's
a
crazy.
it's a losing battle.
yeah.
Because
And
what's
it's
like
just-
this, we're gonna seem like traditionalists in fucking 20 years the way that we exist right now. Like me being a furry is
Absolutely.
gonna be
But
like
they
so
all
fucking
they always
passe.
try to frame it though as like we need to protect our children or something like that. It's like no,
It's because they have nothing else to lean on as
yeah,
a
exactly.
some
Like
piece of evidence. That's all
Like,
they
They're
have
like-
because
afraid
they're
of
outside
change.
children.
Not to
It's
generalize.
yeah.
Like
It's
the only reason they're actually thinking it is because their kids are actually thinking for themselves for once. Like, oh my god, wow, there's a different thought of perspective.
they're doing it
fucking-
because it's such a manipulative tactic to be like, oh, but think of the children. It's like I don't think they ever do.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
I
that
think
I
they're-
think that they think about children a lot, and they're kind of weirdly obsessed over children.
I think there is a
I think in the
Um,
wrong ways though.
You know, that reminds me recently. There's I didn't even know about this until like conservatives started freaking the fuck out over it. But in there was a new episode of Paw Patrol that featured a non-binary character, and immediately
Nice.
Matt Walsh and
a
like,
non-binary.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
Did they actually they actually say non-ponary?
No, I know. I just made that joke.
Okay.
Holy shit! I almost choked on my ice.
Yeah, I'm not even fucking kidding. That actually happened. We're like Matt Walsh, Liz and TikTok are freaking the fuck out over Paw Patrol having a non-binary character in one episode.
That's
Well,
great.
yeah, because they think
Don't give that to Republicans.
they think that like it existing in a way where it's not being explicitly told to children that it's bad is some kind of endorsement of it, and their concern is that if you're non-binary, it's a bad thing. So they're like, well, I wouldn't love my children if they were non-binary. And so they're trying to prevent themselves from hating their own children by they think it's some sort of like disease or indoctrination to not be fully indoctrinated into a weird traditionalist mindset narrative, right?
Do
It's
you
kind of
think, Adam-
interesting because like I don't know, like you go to a sports game, right? I was at 2 baseball games this month. The whole weird anthem, stand for the anthem, and like all like that's just grooming. That's literally just grooming.
Yeah,
like
and
all the kids
also,
there.
like-
There was like a
and
little
also-
thing on the fucking not jumbotron, the big screen or whatever. They like interviewed a kid. They were like, "So what's your favorite baseball man or whatever?" They're like, "I like the baseball man." I'm like, that's just as much grooming as if you were to say like, "Who's your favorite drag queen?" Like you are enforcing like a weird kind of standardized tradition way of living onto someone who's young. Like any education or any attempt to try and make kids feel comfortable in a certain way or to have them learn certain things, like that's all indoctrination. It's all manipulation. It's all propaganda, right? It's just a matter of whether or not it's actually harmful, right? And in Ben Shapiro's mind, he would say that being non-binary is harmful because you're mutilating yourself or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Davis. I just sorry, Davis. I know you have your hand raised. I just want to
No, you're
add
good.
I just add one thing. Adam, I don't know if you felt that way because where I come from, there is a lot of like the idea of like children. When people gets old, they need help, and then like children will be the one trying to help them, and then so when you raise them up, you're putting the effort. Now it's the children's turn to like help you. Do you think in the West there is like similar things subconsciously with the elderly, and that's why elderly people were kind of pissed off? Younger people have more independency than they expected because they kind of expect something in return from the younger people.
I don't know if that's necessarily relevant because I think that is more done on like a personal, like close family relationship level rather than like a society at large level. And honestly, I feel like
I apologize for the stupid dog in the background.
Oh, are you heading
It's
out?
fine. No, she was saying there was a dog in the background. Of
Okay,
her,
sorry. I feel like the probably one of the most common ways to not have your children helping you when you're older is to attack their identity, and like there's a disproportionate amount of like queer, trans, gay, whatever people, children, youths that are homeless because they literally just get kicked out of their house because
Oh,
their
okay.
parents like. So if the parents want to make that decision and be like, we hate queer people and we won't accept that, those are the parents that are not going to have anybody helping them on their deathbed, right? Like those are the ones that are, like the kids are going to grow up and be like, yeah, you're right, I don't need you, and then
Yeah.
whatever, like
Or like
they don't
parents
communicate with
are
each other.
trying to indoctrinate their own family value, just like, hey, it doesn't exist. You're just sick.
I mean, yeah, you
help you.
can you can raise your children with whatever values you want. It's just kind of bizarre that a lot of people freaking out over supposed indoctrination are not necessarily upset at the particular ideas being enforced on their children, because at the end of the day, they're the parents. They're upset at particular ideas being seen in any way by those children, by having the option of knowing that something else exists, right? So
Yeah.
the issue is them trying to hide reality from children, or I guess the society at large is trying to just hide reality and trying to make it so that nobody even knows that any non-binary people exist or anything,
I
Yeah.
had to explain my dad what a non-binary person is, but thankfully he was accepting of people. I mean, he's not like LGBT. And let me rephrase that. Like he made that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm mixing my words here, but I told him about like what non-binary people were because he didn't know, and he seemed to be accepting of them and trans people and stuff. And despite the fact that my parents are somewhat conservative, but they're not like the Trump gung ho, oh, for America freedom kind of Republicans. They're just like,
more
hey,
like
government spending
fiscally
too
conservative
much.
or something.
What?
They're more like fiscally conservative rather than socially conservative.
They're conservative in a sense of like financial issues, but when it comes to like LGBTQ people and like black people and stuff, they seem to be pretty progressive, thankfully.
Yeah.
I have a friend who like explained what non-binary people were to like his mom or something. She's like, so do you say they is? And it's like,
depends on the
okay,
person.
that's cute.
Does and it.
Yeah, I can't
Some people
even
like to be called
begin.
it.
I do know a
thing.
couple it's.
I can't even begin to like explain these things to my family. I can't. I just can't do that because I like
my
They-
absolute favorite video of all time of when it comes to like explaining like the LGBTQ to people, like
thanks,
to the
Adam.
kids, is the one video of some girl that's like talking to, I think, like her like young brother or something, and she's like, hey, I'm lesbian, and then he responds with, I thought you was American.
That's fine.
My mom
That's
has a
classic,
lesbian friend, thankfully, so she's accepting of LGBT.
Well,
people.
that's literally all it takes, is just to know more, that like
Yeah.
maybe one or two people in real life that are these people, and you go like, oh, it's not some weird crazy conspiracy that I'm supposed to be scared about. These are just people.
That's
That's
how it works
literally
with my
that's
dad.
literally all it takes. That's why people
My
that
dad
live in
used to say,
cities are
like-
overwhelmingly not as fucking regressive, bigoted, whatever we want to, ignorant about people's existence. Like people that live in cities are more likely to just be around other types of people. Like it's literally that simple. And then people that isolate themselves and are in this weird homogenous, like, oh, everything's the same and I only hang out with people that are exactly like me sort of thing. Of course, those are going to be people that are more likely to be scared of anyone that's different, you know?
But the
It's
thing is,
like-
like, there were some my family members. They came to Toronto. They went to the city. They stayed there for a month, and they were like, it was very intimidating, and they never want to come back again. Not because of like someone robbed them or anything, but just the fact, like, people they see people from other races, and they just like very uncomfortable with it.
That's interesting. I wonder if it would be different if it was on a more, like, I guess, intimate or personal basis with other types of people. Because I think, if you're from X or any kind of like culturally homogenous place, and you go into somewhere like Toronto that's very much a cultural melting pot, and you're kind of just like experiencing it as an outsider and experiencing it, walking down the street and being like, what? And you're not forming any like personal connections with anyone around you. You're kind of just like hopping into another world for a month and then leaving.
Yeah.
I think
Not to
that
say not to say what race I am, not to dox myself because this is the first time here. Let's just say my family, they like to they're very insistent on going to the specific cultural group that or race group that belongs to them, and then they told me that's the best place they go, and I was like, hey, do you want to try somewhere else? No, it's scary and it's kind of crazy. I don't like that. No.
Yeah,
That's-
it's interesting. And yeah, I think people it's not that like some people can rationalize their fears in certain ways, and it's not like every place on the planet is safe for every person of a particular race or anything, right? It's not like that's the case, but I don't know. In
world is not sunshine and rainbows.
Canada is like probably one of the best examples of like cultural melting pots actually functioning properly. Sure, there are different like enclaves, right? There are different areas,
Even
there
though
are
your
different
prime
neighborhoods.
minister wore blackface.
Yeah, exactly.
Take
It does, like,
That's
yeah, it's
and also just the news outlet is not helping out. Sometimes like against like we just had there was just the news of like India. Like Trudeau has some trouble with like India, and then I can imagine like how some
that's an interesting one.
Yeah, so I can imagine some news outlet in India will just say like, "Be careful, you go to Canada. They hate they hate certain groups of Indian people, blah blah blah," which is not entirely true, but the news still
Not
spin
true,
that.
really.
No,
Canadian
it's not true. But
I mean,
but the news can spin it. That
one of our like the third highest polling party, NDP, like the party leader is Sikh. Like he's literally like he's got a turban and he's like the party leader.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is like to the like because like I didn't come to Canada until a few years ago, so like I can tell from the outside world like how some people sees Canada, and when I come to Canada, I was like, oh wow, this is just a lot of it's like balloony, but like especially for like elderly, for like somebody a little bit elderly who trusts the news source of the country, their views on the on certain things is going to be skewed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Davis, your hand is up. Hello.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Davis. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. I'm dealing with bank shit. I was just curious. Was one of the baseball games you went to a Savannah Bananas game?
No. It was a Blue Jay. I was in Toronto and both gay ball games. Gay ball. It was funny. It was great to bring Alex to a baseball game because it was all just a very
awesome.
Yeah.
You're brown
do you
to a
know
hockey
what-
game.
Do you know what the Savannah Bananas are?
No, but I know what Savannah is.
That's where I am right now. Baby.
Oh,
That's where
nice.
I go to school.
Damn.
I also just fun fact because so I go to Savannah College of Art and Design. So being in art school and having a ridiculous influx of students, we actually have like 500 new students. All of them don't have housing because the place that we were supposed to be building isn't done, and they took all their money.
Oops.
Oh, I want to talk about complain for two things about housing. There was a guy that actually smoked weed in the college building that I meant that we had to evacuate the entire fucking building.
It was too dank.
You're not allowed to smoke, but I had to walk like 11 flights of stairs because I'm on the 11th
loser.
floor.
It was too dank for everybody.
It was too dank. No, but like being in an art school as a straight white male, we are the minority. I know. But it's great because being the minority is really great because I'm like, wow, I finally get to feel like no one gives me respect.
Ostracized.
Yeah, I feel ostracized from my community. and it's so fun. But no, like in all seriousness, though, it is like just great, like seeing so many different facets. Like a lot of people from different countries come to the school, which like is great. But like for
Are you like born and raised Savannah or?
no, I was born in New Jersey originally,
Okay.
but I came here just because they gave me some money because I was willing to come in September of 2020.
It's nice. I
And-
hear Savannah's the murder capital of Georgia.
It's pretty rough here.
But I hear it's like mostly bad, like outside, like not like in the downtown, but like a little further
Yeah,
out.
I would say really once you get further outside downtown, it's where it gets pretty rough. But like literally a week ago, because I'm in a new apartment, but a week ago I parked my car in a street parking spot, tried to go down the spot, a cop was like, "You're gonna have to walk down a different street." And a person was literally on the ground. All I saw was legs and a cop just investigating. And I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna go around the park."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very fun, but it is a gorgeous city. Great drinking city also.
Yeah.
It's an open.
Have
cup
you
city,
seen
so-
there's like a really like there's some when you go down to the water, there's like really dangerous staircases, and I'm like everybody's
Ooh.
really drunk here, and you could easily just fall like 3 stories down these like
It is
like stone steps.
embarrassing
Like
how
guaranteed,
much you
like
see
there's
it.
been people that have died there, right? Like
yeah.
you look at that, I'm like somebody's died here for sure. Like probably
Someone died
multiple
last
people.
year.
Yeah, just falling.
Yep. They were
Yeah.
really,
You just
really
all you
drunk.
have to
It
do
was
is
a man
look
in
at
their
it
50s.
and be like, wow, this is not a good thing
Yeah,
for drunk
It's
people to be walking
unbelievably
on.
steep, but the reason why it's like that is because it's so close to the water. If it were to
Yeah.
flood, it's to provide a place so the whole city doesn't.
Yeah,
basically flood.
yeah,
But
I don't
it's
know,
still
like
the design
some
of the stairs is unbelievably
better
stupid.
guardrails or something.
Yeah, and it's all
It's
stone,
terrifying.
so it gets slippery very quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah, not fun. I've almost lost my step a couple times. So
yeah, it's terrifying.
yeah. Other than that, Savannah's pretty good. Shitty clubs.
Yeah.
The college I'm in is pretty awesome. There's a lot. There's one class I'm taking, like a writing class, and a lot of students are really diverse. I'm not going to name names or anything, but there's like some that I'm like, oh, I'd never seen someone like this before, and it's kind of nice being in a college
Mhm.
that's like that.
Yeah. When you,
I wanted to ask another TIFF film you saw that I'm curious about. What did you think of The Holdovers? Because I know that movie is getting a lot of praise. and you gave
fucking,
it like a 5.
it's just Oscar bait. I'm just so sick of Alexander Payne at this point. It's literally just Oscar bait. And any like I was excited by the trailer.
looked
Paul
good.
Giamatti. Yeah, Paul Giamatti's great, and I like the '70s filming style. But then beyond that, it's just like you look, just read the fucking synopsis, and then you can just imagine the rest of the movie in your head, and it's the sappiest fucking like paint by numbers, like, oh, they don't like each other, I guess they'll have to learn to love each other, and then
Yeah, I skipped that because
it was-
I know, like, I skipped that because, like, it's one of those movies. Like, gonna
yeah,
check
my
out
mom
soon.
liked it a lot.
What did Alexander Payne make again?
Election 1999, Sideways 2004, Nebraska 2013.
Nebraska was annoying.
I've seen none of these.
Yeah, did
Me
he do
neither.
Downsizing?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was
Oh my
apparently really
God.
bad.
Oh my god! that
Everyone
was
hated
so
downsizing.
boring.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's the only thing I knew about it, is that
That
everybody
was
hated it.
So
And then
boring,
outside of
yeah.
those movies, like, he's just kind of like, the Oscars just loves him. Like Nebraska, I don't know why the fuck that got nominated for so many different things. I don't understand.
Yeah, downside. Okay, when you said downsizing, I was like, okay, I have zero interest in checking Holdover because, like, downsizing was literally like, it's not even
It's
the
not-
worst movie.
It's not like a bad movie. It's just like, why like it's the least resonating movie that I've watched at the festival in terms of like having anything to think about after the fact.
Yeah.
Like
Is it
every other movie I saw at the festival, I had something to think about, even if it was like a bad movie. Holdovers is like, there's literally, you watch it and then you're out of the movie and it's like, okay, well, I just killed 2 hours and that's all I have to say about this experience.
You know what? I felt the same way at TIFF this year was like The Peasants, and I'm
Didn't
kind of
watch it.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad you missed it because like that was a movie where like every single frame was like really really beautiful. You can tell it was hand drawn oil painting, but like but the audio was like super clean. And
Oh
then,
yeah,
like,
this is from the same team that made that other painting.
Yeah.
movie.
It's one of those films. I don't know if you guys
Living
felt
Vincent.
that way, but there were some movies where the visuals become like so beautiful that it becomes distracting. Does that make sense, or just?
I get what you mean. I feel like anything that as long as the style is consistent, I'll get used to it after like 10 minutes or something. Like I
Yeah,
might be
but
distracted by something like at the beginning and then just kind of get into it after the fact.
but what really pissed me off, like just no, sorry, not piss off, but just really disappointing about like the peasant was like they didn't take advantage of the art form, you know? Like
Yeah, I feel like
yeah,
surprisingly Loving Vincent didn't either.
yeah, I maybe yeah,
You
like
know? It's kind of a
I was just
weird
think
high effort to do that doesn't really pay off in the way that you'd hope.
yeah, like I was thinking about something like Waking Live or Scanner
Yeah.
Darkly.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
like they can do something very abstract with like
And there's more of a
you
point
know yeah.
thematically.
Exactly. And then what's interesting was like I asked the director later on because he brought up AI, and I was like asking him like, "What do you feel about AI?" And then he's just saying like, "Well, my art form is gonna be the last thing affected by AI." You know, because of, like he said,
Oh,
like
the
AI can't.
director of this film, The
Yeah,
Peasants?
yeah,
You could easily like this is going to be one of the first things you can do with AI
I
is film a
know,
movie and do like
I
fake
know.
rotoscoping. Like I'm looking at fucking the rotoscope movies by Richard Linklater and I'm like this is going to be really easy to do with AI in like a year.
Yeah,
Like in
and it
literally
was
like a year. It's gonna be like
yeah.
indistinguishable and you won't be able to tell the difference. Like
He
this is the
comes up.
first thing you're gonna be able to do with
Yeah,
AI.
I talked to him for like 5 minutes, and again, just referencing like my experience talking to
That's
him for
crazy.
like less than 5 minutes. He sounds like he really loves what he was doing. He said like that whole movie like spent like 4 years to make because they shot everything on film and they had to like paint everything in like
On the
oil
actual like
painting.
film cells. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like this, he even said like there's a possibility of relieving live action, but I don't know if he's actually going to do that.
Yeah, why do that?
What
That it
film are you
kind of
Yeah,
guys talking about
defeats
again? I'm
the
sorry.
the
peasants.
Peasants, which is the newest film from the people that did Loving Vincent, and it's
Oh,
essentially the gimmick is that the entire
it's all
thing
hand
is
painted,
hand painted.
right?
So it's
I watched
rotoscoped.
Loving Vincent for a class.
Yeah, it's rotoscoped using like actual oil paintings.
Yeah,
I
I
liked
felt
it. The
really
most. No, sorry. I was just gonna say I liked Loving Vincent. I just thought the most appealing thing to it was its art style.
I'm just like I was so disappointed by Loving Vincent because how can you make a movie that is in that style that by the end of it you're bored?
Yeah.
How do you
I
make
was
how do you
just
make
like, that's
that
all.
interesting of a style so boring in an hour and a half?
exactly.
For them to make a
Exactly.
boring movie out of that, that's pathetic. That's like you did something really bad.
Exactly, Adam. Exactly. That's exactly how I felt about the peasant. I left the cinema and I was like kind of felt really bad of like not enjoying the movie at all because
Yeah,
like
you got to start
it's
with a
like
good
clear.
skeleton
Yeah.
first.
Like the music was really awesome and then like the painting was beautiful, but like I just couldn't possibly get invested in the story at all. And it was just like so many people spent so much time working on this. It's clearly like everyone is like giving their heart out, and it just like doesn't connect at all. It's like, I felt so bad not liking it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
did anybody see Pool Man?
no,
Oh,
no.
Pool Man, the fucking Chris Pine thing.
Yeah, did anybody see it?
Oh
No.
no, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
What is this?
So
It's Chris
so
Pine's
okay, here's
directorial
here's the
debut.
context. At TIFF, it's a film festival where there's not only care put into the programming and film selection, but there's also a lot of focus on TIFF on like the whole red carpet and celebrity thing. So if any name actor, Chris Pine, Viggo Mortensen, there's tons of name actors that will just be like, oh, I want to direct a movie, and it'll be their first movie. TIFF will screen it regardless of what the quality of the movie is, and there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. I'm not trying to shit on TIFF. That's something you
Yeah.
should do because people will buy the tickets and people want let people decide how it is. If people want to buy the movie based on nothing other than Chris Pine directed it, that's their fucking fault if they don't like the movie, right? Why did you buy a ticket to the movie with
It
your
reminds
only
me a
knowledge
lot-
being Chris Pine directed? You think that every movie at TIFF is going to be a fucking like banger? Like you're insane.
No.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be.
Wasn't like there's a
That's
thing
like
of,
this.
last
Oh.
year there was a whole thing about like Taylor Swift fans mass buying TIFF tickets because of the
Yeah.
Taylor Swift film that last year.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a part of the. It's a really buzzy film festival, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite film festival. And yeah, if like a name actor wants to drop a movie, Anna Kendrick released her directorial debut at TIFF this year as well.
It got bought by
Oh
Um,
shit! Really?
Yeah,
It got
like
I
bought-
really liked it.
apparently
it got bought
people
by
liked it.
Netflix. It
Yeah.
got bought by Netflix apparently. So we'll see how
Damn.
that
Yeah,
goes.
so apparently
But,
that
like-
one did pretty well. It was called Woman of the Hour, yeah. And
Very nice.
I think Amanda told me she liked it a lot.
Yeah, she did.
And yeah, so if you understand enough about like the culture of film festivals and this film festival at all, you'll know that just because an actor directed a movie and just because it's at TIFF doesn't mean it's going to be good. The Viggo Mortensen's
Yeah.
directorial debut, I think like 2 years ago or some shit. It was so
Game?
off. It was horrendous. It was
Oh,
horrendous.
Game
It was
film?
like genuinely horrendous. Yeah,
Is
that
that
dumb.
Green Book you're talking about?
No, it was
Uh,
a gay
No.
film.
He
It
didn't
was
direct
a-
Green Book, but it might as well have been Green
It was
Book.
the movie about the gay family with the adopted daughter, right? And the
Oh no,
dad-
Viggo
grandpa
Mortensen
was
Yeah.
was
racist.
an actor.
Viggo
in
Mortensen was
Green Book.
acting in Green Book, and then he directed a movie that he also starred in.
I fucking hated Green Book a lot.
Yeah.
pretentious.
Well, he
I
made
still-
something that's like even kind of worse than Green Book, probably.
Like
Green
this
Book
fucking
felt like a Darman video.
Yeah, I would say that his directorial debut also felt like a Darman video.
I mean, TIFF also released.
It was called
Dash
Falling.
Cam.
I think I gave it a worse
Falling.
rating than Green Book. Let's check.
You gave it a 4, I think.
Yeah, what did I
There's
give
a-
Green Book?
You know, I watched a trailer for a movie, a Netflix movie that's directed
I
by
gave
Bill
Green Book a
Burr.
5. So I gave Viggo
That's too
Mortensen's
high for me. I gave
Viggo
it a
Mortensen's
3.
directorial debut. I gave a 4,
Damn.
and it was worse than Green Book.
Is it even like so bad it's good kind of a movie?
It's kind of just pathetic.
Oh, okay.
You can kind of laugh at it. It is kind of funny how repetitive and obvious it is. It's 2 hours of him going like, "Dad, I'm gay," and he's like, "But I'm old. I'm old." He's like, "What? But I'm gay. I'm old." And it's just literally 2 hours, and it's like there's no interesting perspectives or commentary or like subtext or like subtleties or anything. And it pretends to be an Oscar movie. It's like it wishes that it was Oscar baity enough to actually get any kind of Oscar nom.
That's true.
But it's really pathetic that it fails at even doing that. It fails. It tries to be Green Book and somehow fails, which is just like extra pathetic. Because Green Book successfully was an Oscar bait movie. This is just trying to be and they didn't even bite.
I
I'm
genuinely
still
want to
mad at
know.
one.
I genuinely want to know what the strikes are going to end before the Oscars, because if not, either the Oscars are going to get delayed or they're going to not have actors at the Oscars.
Also, I would like to point out that TIFF is not even unique in terms of, hey, an actor made a directorial debut, an actor that people like and recognize, because Falling premiered at Cannes and then was also at Sundance. So it seems like everybody kind of like gave him a chance with this one, even though it was like a really terrible movie. I mean, people didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was, but like it's genuinely just so awful. Anyway, Pool Man is a movie that I didn't watch because there was no reason to, but apparently a lot of people were like, "Oh, I gotta watch." It was like a hot ticket, like it sold out. Like Chris Pine's directorial debut, I gotta watch Pool Man. Like,
I don't
okay, as if
understand
like
that.
there's
I
any
don't
reason to
understand
think
that.
that would be a good movie. I don't know. And he stars in it too. I don't know if people were just hoping that Chris Pine would be there or something. But there were a lot of people on the TIFF subreddit being like, "Why was this even like a part of the programming?" like they were upset that it was even in the programming, which is just fucking hilarious to hear. So now I'm morbidly curious about it, and I added it to my watch list after seeing how much people hated it.
Yeah, I mean, like TIFF released Dash Cam. That was unbearable.
Thanks, Peter Kaplowski.
I mean, there's a fucking there's a Netflix movie that's coming out that's directed by Bill Burr, and I watched the trailer for it, and don't like. For me personally, I don't get Bill Burr's type of comedy. Like
He's
some of
not
his
that
jokes can be
funny.
funny, but for me, it seems that his whole gimmick and schmick, or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm trying to sound Jewish. Shtick. Is trying to offend people trying to offend people with rape jokes and shit, which is whatever. But make it actually fucking funny. Don't just say,
who's Bill Burr?
women are stupid. Like, that's all you are actually doing.
Are you talking about his like actual comedy?
I feel like in some sense a little bit. I haven't seen most of his specials properly.
I think he part of his appeal is the character of him being like, I don't get it. He's like, he successfully plays the old man but not like so much that he's like anti-woke, anti-progressive. He's just kind of like, he's edgy. He's edgy, but I don't think he's like a big, he's not like showing up on Tucker Carlson or anything. And I don't think he even aligns with that. You know, when he showed up on Joe Rogan, he famously, you know, was like, why the fuck are you scared of wearing a mask? Like, listen to the experts, you dumb shit. Like, and he actually like pushed back on him. So I think that there's something appealing to him comedically in terms of him, you know, poking fun at gender stereotypes, maybe only really particularly in one direction. And that can be perceived as sexist, and perhaps maybe it is. Perhaps like maybe I need to think about it more. That was a slip of the tongue. I don't usually say it like that.
No, you're fine. I like, and that's
You've
really
said it
fine.
before.
I'm not talking more about. Oh, I'm sorry, I live in. I'm not talking more about like his jokes on gender politics. That's more fine because I'm in a school where literally we joke about that all the time. But like, I think if you truly want to like make see, this is the thing, because I do laugh at like a lot of Scoot's jokes that he makes about like satirical jokes he makes about women in your Adams Plays videos, but I think after
Scoot
like
is
talking
very
with my
obviously
family, yes,
joking.
but yeah, Scoot is so obvious with the way he jokes, and I think Bill Burr for me is just like right on that edge, just with his tone, I think. And after like
I think the tone
family,
is what sells it. I think the fact that like I think people like him for a lot of the same reasons that people like me, is they want to just hear kind of an angry rant in like kind of a funny way. I think that that's part of what sells it. And you're like, what's the deal? Like he's got a great, like you hear him start to go off on something, and even if you don't agree with him, like I think that I think that just the character of him selling it in that way is part of a big reason why he's successful. And I think that his jokes are pretty funny too. I don't agree with everything he says. You know, he does kind of push that line. You know, I don't have to. You don't hear me like parroting the whole. What was this? Like he was talking about like Rihanna. Like sometimes it's never okay to hit a woman. Like it's funny because it goes there, and it's also for shock humor. I think like it's. I think he understands that it's funny because it's sensational. And he's not doing it in like he's not like Roseanne. He's not like that fucking weird what's his face
jokes as an excuse for racism or something.
Yeah, it's like I don't think that he's like less ideologically driven than like George Carlin, right?
My Ambien made me racist.
Yeah. That was funny.
I thought the bitch was white.
I take Ambien all the time. It hasn't made me do that.
That's why you're so racist.
that was a Scoot joke.
Yeah.
Adam, since we're on the topic of TIFF,
Yes.
I just want to I want to talk about The Boy and the Heron real quick, because I saw that film on opening day, and then like I had to choose. I got 2 tickets. I have to
Opening
choose
day at
between-
TIFF? You saw it like opening night?
Yeah, I have to choose between Anatomy of the Fall and The Boy and the Heron.
Wrong choice.
And then like, yeah, I have to pick Miyazaki because he meant for me more than Anatomy of the Fall, and I was just really let down by that. You know,
What did you think
like,
of Miyazaki's like films in the past 10 years?
I think he has. How should I say? I think like the older he grew, the more he wanna like tell something about his childhood. You know, he has like he's more attached to a sense of nostalgia. Not saying he hasn't, like Castle in the Sky, like Spirited Away. You know, there's always like some or Porco Rosso. There is always a sense of sentimentality. I didn't mind his later films like Ponyo, The Wind Rises, and Wind Rises has like a very like great moments where like his what spoiler. Well, should I even? I don't want to spoil, but there's something around.
It's from 2013. You can just ask the people here if they care, and if
I've
somebody.
seen it. So
What
I
movie?
don't
I'm sorry.
mind.
Say
The
again?
Wind Rises. Do you
The
care
Wind
about
Rises.
spoilers for Miyazaki's The Wind Rises 2013?
I don't care. I like Miyazaki, but I'm probably not going to see it.
Okay.
Okay, is everyone all right?
I've seen the film, so go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, so like in Wind Rises, I'm still keep it spoiler free, but like there's a scene when someone died, and then there's a gust of wind like blowing away, you know, symbolize the passing of her, of like him or her, and it was like really emotionally effective towards me, and it was just like every single Miyazaki movie before The Boy and the Heron, you know, even like Ponya has like some kind of like sentimentality to it. Ponya, yeah. Sorry, I didn't pronounce it right.
That's okay.
Ponyo. There's like even Porco Rosso, you know, there's something really hitting me. The Boy and the Heron felt like it felt I felt similarly to like the Fablesman, where like it's sincere that what they're making, but it's just like it doesn't have like the key ingredients. Some of it were missing, especially it's the music. You know, like the composer, Joe.
I thought the music was great, but just like that, it didn't sometimes it was doing a tone that wasn't really earned in the scene. Like it was just kind of like weird how it worked.
It kept on having like the slow piano, you know, just like
yeah, you can say that that's like a little cliched. I thought the music was really great in the first. I thought that like if I were to judge the first like 5-10 minutes of the film, I would be like fucking 9 out of 10 or something. But it just kind of like, you know, it kind of just dissolved over time and just it kind of just became like what an AI would have imagined a Miyazaki movie would be.
I wouldn't go that far.
It felt like a lot of it was just interchangeable. You know, you had the staple moments of like, oh, we're having a new shot of an interesting character design, like a new type of thing. But then ultimately, it doesn't really matter in the story. And you could have done that. Like, you can swap around different scenes at different points in the movie interchangeably, and it doesn't really matter. Like, the overall narrative experience is just kind of like it's difficult for me to give a shit about things that are happening.
I kind of enjoyed some of the character dynamics, but I think it was like the design that really let me down, especially because like, you know, there was like some Jigglypuff thingy that just a lot of
those didn't matter in the story. They gave like one line saying like, oh, they eat them or something. It's like, okay, but why? It never justified them being in the story really. So it was literally just to have like a trailer shot or just to have like ooh, this is a Miyazaki movie. Let's put in some jiggly things.
What do you think of House Moving Castle?
I don't remember enough about it to have an opinion on it. Which is
that's one of the only Miyazaki movies I haven't seen.
I apparently gave it a 7.
Yeah.
The plot is weirdly disjointed. I don't know.
I think the only 2 Miyazaki movies that I absolutely love are Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. I haven't seen Totoro.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Porco.
Is a little too baby for me.
Totoro's okay in my opinion. I really love Kiki's Delivery Service. So Kiki's Delivery Service.
I haven't seen that one either.
That's a good
I
one.
love
I really
Castle in the Sky a lot.
Totoro is pretty explicitly like a baby movie.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
have not seen Castle in the Sky. I don't like that there's 2 movies with the word castle in the title.
Yeah.
They should have picked a different title.
Yeah. So what I felt about Miyazaki, especially with this one, I kind of like. I don't feel like. Well, yes. Now that you think about it, now that I think about it, yeah, like there's some scenes that were interchangeable, but I just felt like there isn't like a special elements that made his other movie stand out. Because this is like, you're right. This is it felt like it's going through the motion. I
Yeah, that's
liked
exactly what it is.
Yeah, I liked some of the things they set up. Like like how much can I say about the plot? Well, let's just say there's some character relationship that felt like, yeah, it felt like it comes from a place where he experienced it before, and like there's some connectivity, but it kind of falls apart towards the third act where like he was trying to tell too many things at once.
I could barely even like point out acts in the movie. I think there's definitely a beginning, there's definitely an ending, and then there's just like a whole bunch of like dicking around in between that just feels like it's interchangeable.
Yeah, I also found like some of the how the voice acting was like how like the sound was integrated with the image was a
Mhm.
little bit odd. There's a scene where like a girl cried, and then her crying sound, I don't know if you noticed this, but her crying sound comes like 2 or 3 frames, a couple frames behind the image. So you see her mouth open, and then you don't hear the sound.
I think that in most anime style things I've watched, the lip syncing hasn't been like as tight as other styles of animation, though.
Yeah, but I don't know, something about like just there's no music and it's just very quiet, and then you
Okay.
hear like you see the crying sound comes before the image. That was very distracting. Some of the walking animation was like weirdly CG for some
What?
reason.
I didn't notice
Like
that.
there were some shots where a character walking, and then like it doesn't have like where like where the hand drawn, there's like a few missing, like when you see hand drawn there's like always like some
Like an
frames
imperfection?
missing.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean it was like too
imperfection.
high of a frame rate? I thought it was kind of yeah,
Yeah.
like I thought that most of the movie seemed like way higher frame rate than what I'm used to from anime, but I don't know if
Yeah.
those were all hand-drawn frames. I would assume that they were. But
Yeah.
I didn't think it was CG, and yeah, maybe they animated at like 30 instead of 24 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
It's
maybe it
also
depended on the
just felt
scene.
like
Maybe it depended on the scene.
it also just felt like quality wise it felt a little bit subpar to like the other Miyazaki movies. Even
I thought the
Ponyo has
animation
like,
was like fucking fantastic. I
oh
loved the
really?
animation in Boy and the Heron.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of the things that I really liked about it.
See, I like the animation in like Robot Dreams more for some reason. And that was like one of my
Very
favorite.
different style, yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like just in terms of like emotionally, I felt like Boy and the Heron trying to go for more, but somehow I gained less. But with Robot Dreams,
Boy and the Heron
it
takes
was
itself a lot more seriously. Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap up this hangout.
Oh, sorry.
So I'll give everyone like one final question, comment. If you want to think about it, that's fine. I gotta pee right now anyway. So, yeah, everybody, one final question, comment. You can raise your hand or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'll just go through you in order. But I gotta
Okay.
pee right now. I'll be right back.
Good.
Yeah, sorry guys, I was talking about Miyazaki movie a little bit too much because
you're
I've
fine.
seen. Now you're fine. I'm gonna see Boy and the Heron anyways. It comes out. What's crazy is that it's coming out the same day as the Zone of Interest and Poor Things on December 8th. So it's gonna be a busy Friday for me that day, seeing 3 movies, or maybe I'll just see 2 and see one of them on Saturday.
yeah. I would say this. I don't regret watching it. I would watch it again, but like the thing is like, do you know like how sometimes directors have like you made some movies? Because I saw his first movie I saw was Spirited Away. I didn't really get that. I didn't really quite like it. And then when I watched Princess Mononoke, it was like, oh my god, like there's so much about what he was trying to communicate that I start to like understand now. So after
Every
seeing
every
Princess,
director has movies like that. I think everyone mostly points to stuff like or to people like Wes Anderson, who very much has like that type of catalog where like some people will really not connect with some of his movies while other people will like really connect with his other movies.
Tarantino
I mean,
has a
that's how
lot of
I-
those. Tarantino has a lot of those because, like, some people, like, Pulp Fiction is his most universally loved film, but then you talk to some people and they'll be like, I hate Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I love Inglourious Bastards, or I really loved Jackie Brown, but I hate Death Proof. It's like he is a very diverse filmmaker. Tarantino is.
I think
I
Yeah.
don't.
I think
like,
it's
that Hollywood one. Forgot the
yeah, I
title
like
already.
I don't think I've hated any of Quentin Tarantino's films. I just wasn't really into Jackie Brown, I guess. But it's interesting that everybody has like, in terms of what people say their favorite Tarantino is, there's not like one universal answer. It's pretty spread out. It's pretty diverse for the fan base. We're gonna go through everybody one at a time for final questions and comments here. Meat Boy, hello.
hello. So thank you so much. This is the first time I've been like on this hangout, and I really love you guys so much. You know, you guys are really chill,
It's great to have you
super
here.
awesome. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you for listening and rambling. Sometimes I talk too much, but I hope I'm not. You know. Anyways, I have something interesting. I want to hear your opinions on
Sure.
them. Just yeah. So like we talked about, how great, like, not everything about anime was perfect, but there's something, the music of a lot of the anime films were like very, very like diegetic, like really cool. I just curious, like, why does like so a lot of people love the anime score, especially like Miyazaki movies. I wonder why not a lot of them just like work in Hollywood, because like sometimes you complain like the music was just like very generic, very like very it sounds like stock music. Why don't we like get some really great composers from Japan or like other countries in Hollywood, spice things up?
I mean, yeah, Hollywood. The same problem exists with music as it does with every other element of it, is that it's kind of just finding the most standardized paint by numbers way to do it, and finding someone who will do those things in ways where the average audience member isn't going to care, and do it cheap, right? So there's incredible composers that exist, and a lot of them get nominated for Oscars every year. Some of them have yet to be recognized in that way, but there are amazing composers that work on Western movies that have proven themselves in this way. It's just that your average Marvel movie doesn't care too much. Your average, like Star Wars is just going to keep doing the same John Williams thing. Most Marvel movie, like the only Marvel movie, correct me if I'm wrong, the only Marvel movie that's been nominated for score is like the Black Panther ones, and that was like a Ludwig Göransson.
Best Picture,
Who
though,
was
isn't
that?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Best Picture.
I think it was nominated for score, wasn't it? Black Panther?
It was nominated for score and won.
Yeah, I think
over
it won.
Isle of Dogs.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
like
not good.
with that Mario movie, just one very last thing, just like the Mario movie,
Mhm.
the one thing that really, really, really pissed me off was just like, okay, you have this composer, in Japan, like
Yeah.
you have the composer that made Super Mario Galaxy, wrote the music, have him write the score for that movie. Why do you get like some like,
I mean, if we're gonna
just
talk
really
about like
upsetting.
it being a difference
Like-
culturally, you could argue that like how much did Nintendo have to say? Because my understanding that like Illumination, despite making the movie, like Nintendo had the final say on like anything that happened. I'm pretty sure. Like they seem to have like a lot of control over their properties.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I would imagine that probably Illumination came up with the idea to use like Take on Me and all these like really dumb decisions, but
Uh, yeah, that
and
was
not use like the original
yeah.
composition that they made for Donkey Kong specifically.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to say there are some big drastic differences in terms of like how different countries' film industries will care about different aspects of art. Like I mentioned in the voice acting and the Lion King thing, I looked at the Japanese voice actors didn't have the same issues. They care obviously Japan cares a lot about animation as a medium and voice acting as like a talent. I don't know that composition is one that I feel as strongly about in terms of like the big cultural differences. I just think that there's more like slop in Hollywood America, and that's just a symptom of that. I think that in general, artists culturally making Western films do care about the score.
You
It's
also
just
mentioned
like
the Ghost in the Shell remake and the original score. You mentioned that.
yeah, but it's just a matter like it's not those are the original Ghost in the Shell could have been an American movie, not in the sense that like, oh yeah, you would have gotten the same thing. I'm just saying like the problem with the remake of Ghost in the Shell wasn't that it was American. The problem was that it was just made without soul or passion or any sort
I
of like
agree.
good reason to make the movie.
I agree.
And a lot of these things do come from America, but it's just because there's a lot of money and a lot of people are looking to fund projects for any reason with name recognition. So, yeah, there's something to what you're saying, but I'm not sure I would go. I would have to think about it more or look into it more to have as strong of an opinion. Because you could look at like I fucking love Yoko Kano, and then I realized that they're just like
Yeah,
ripping
she's-
off. Like, that they're just kind of like recycling things that other people are doing and getting all the credit, which is upsetting.
It's kind of funny because I still run into people who are like, Yoko Kano's great.
Yeah, it's really, and I still love listening to those songs from Wolf's Rain and other anime, but I just wish that it was properly credited. It's like watching a Sniper Wolf video and liking the TikTok you saw. It's like,
Fair.
you can watch it and like it, you can enjoy it. I just wish it was properly credited.
I think Yoko put in more effort, but I haven't delved into this subject. I haven't.
I think
researched.
Yoko put in more effort than Sniper Wolf. Yes, that's a very low bar, but yes.
That's funny.
It
All right.
was very funny listening to her say I couldn't
sorry,
work
I
on
took
anything
everyone's
for
time,
more than
sorry.
2 weeks, and then
Oh,
That
that's
kind of
fine.
I
reminds you.
spent months on a video once.
Yeah.
That just kind of reminds you of like I always hear people like Anthony Fantano talking about this band name. What were they called? Greta Van Fleet, who
Mhm.
apparently, in his opinion, they always try to emulate like Led Zeppelin music
Mhm.
and not really trying to like make their own sound, but basically just provide that kind of sound from a specific band rather than like trying to do their own thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would have to like be more familiar with Led Zeppelin and like really delve into that to come up with any conclusions. But
Yeah.
here's an
If
interesting.
you want if you want an introduction to the whole thing, I would recommend checking out Anthony's Not Good on one of Greta Van Fleet's videos. I forget which one specifically, but
I don't care
it
enough
should-
to do that. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's fine. But I just figured I'd bring it up because it kind of reminded me of that.
Are there any Bright Eyes fans in here? Because
30 what? Say again?
Bright Eyes fans.
Oh, I do love Mr. Brightside. Oh wait.
Bright Eyes is a band,
Oh.
not
Let me look
Mr.
up their
Brightside by the
catalog.
Killers.
Sorry.
So I've recently very much not regretted at all subscribing to the Bright Eyes subreddit because it's like, okay, they're like my favorite band, so why would I not be subscribed to the subreddit? And so like the conversations people have, they posted a band that was like that existed for like maybe 2 albums and didn't really take off. And it was so funny how much of a Bright Eyes ripoff it was. And it's like I couldn't share this with anybody that's not familiar with Bright Eyes because you won't get it. But like, as a person that's heard like every Bright Eyes song and listen to them to the point where I've like basically memorized them. Listening to this other band, it was just so fucking obvious in terms of like how they presented themselves and their song titles and like specific key moments of the song where like it's difficult for me to be like, oh yeah, they're ripping someone off if you've seen my Kimba video or like my perspectives on other things like this, but like listening to that shit, I'm like, wow, you literally just ripped off this song, or like it was insane actually. The other band was called N Angle, which is funny. Anyway, BC 467.
Yeah, I have
What's
a
up?
couple of things. The
Yes.
first thing is that sorry if I like miss my words sometimes. I have a speech impediment and also autism, so
I don't
it leads
mind
to
at all.
me,
You don't have to apologize for that.
Okay, that's why I sometimes miss my words. And like when I was talking about my dad learning about non-binary people, I had to I was missing my words. So I just figured I apologize for that. And then I have two questions. Well,
No need to apologize. It's all good.
thanks, thank you. I have two things. So I remember yesterday you were talking about like AI content and stuff.
Mhm.
There's an hour ago, this YouTuber that I somewhat follow called Johnny Tucelos uploaded a video about how some AI channel was literally stealing his content, and I got me thinking: are you afraid that AI is going to start stealing your content?
In what way are they stealing this other person's content?
Stealing their thumbnails, stealing their scripts via ChatGPT, and literally posting the
Scripts?
same. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
What
He's
other
claiming that
what channel is this?
Johnny Tucelos. I haven't watched the video, but
How do
know
I
the
spell
description.
that? Johnny.
I'll just link the video to you. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
But it got me thinking. Do you think are you worried about like AI some person doing AI to make your content?
Well, I don't understand how anybody could profit off of taking the script to a video that I've made already. Because I don't know, what sells my videos a lot of the time is the editing, first of all. Let's see.
And also
So-
insightful commentary that I don't.
Yeah,
know if
like
an AI can recreate
I'm-
that shit.
an AI could recreate Jeremy Johns. Because like you can pretty you can do a pretty good job at like knowing exactly what he has to say about any movie from now until the end of time, right?
I
Like
messed around with like nostalgia critic reviews and did
Mhm.
like fucking funny games and a bunch of other shit. And it doesn't really read like one of his reviews. But it is like
I mean,
mildly
eventually we'll get to the
funny.
point where like you can make a realistic imitation of other people. That'll be an interesting thing. I think that'll be at least interesting if that were something that I had to deal with on a personal level. Because I think what would be interesting, like I'm thinking about this right now, there's probably a lower threshold for what someone else would accept for an accurate version of myself than what I would accept. So even though maybe I think that I have a high standard for like what something would have to be like to accurately replicate me, that might not be the same standard that everybody else has, right? There's a lot of people that, you know, how many posts do we see on the subreddit that's just like, oh, a white guy with long hair, this is Adam. And it's like, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that's. I mean, those people are joking. Like,
Some are joking, but like there's sometimes people will be like, this person sounds exactly like Adam, when it's not that accurate. Anyway, so I'm kind of Johnny Two Cellos looking at this channel. I'm not gonna watch through this whole video right now. They posted an hour ago.
So the
So
Yeah, I
were
was
you
on
watching
Twitter.
this in while the hangout
No,
was
I
happening?
didn't watch the video. What I was doing is I was on Twitter briefly and I saw
Okay.
like someone retweet this video and I was like maybe this would be interest Adam honestly because you have a lot to say on AI.
Because I'm reading the description right now. It says they ripped off his videos directly, but entire thumbnail style. So they're apparently feeding the script, running scripts through your scripts through Chat GBT, and the editing seems to be so nonsensical and messy that I can't imagine any human could have possibly touched it. That's interesting. I'm kind of interested in that.
Yeah, I figured you would find interest in that because I figured you have a lot to say on AI. I didn't watch the video itself. I was just on Twitter and stuff and I saw it. And what?
I think that you know, ripping off someone's style or content is not something that's like specific to AI. You can do that without AI, and it's bad either way. I I think that people using AI in ways to create material without necessarily intending on ripping somebody off is an entirely different conversation than somebody specifically trying to create something that's like one person's work. But yeah, it's like I think it's also a different conversation of like, are you trying to do something in the style of someone, or are you trying to do something that somebody's already done or that somebody has the copyright to? Right?
I also wonder how much of it is like, are you trying to trick the audience of the other
Are you trying to
channel?
be deceptive as to what the origin of the content is or what the nature of the content is? These are all interesting questions, which is why I haven't like made any hard
I'm just waiting for somebody to make an AI
conclusions, right?
generated channel for Sniper Wolf. Honestly,
Easy.
I personally,
That would
I
be
always
that.
thought-
That'll be the
could.
first thing to happen.
Her
Yeah.
content would not be hard to AI generate.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm convinced that channels like Watch Mojo or any of those like corporate top 10 channels probably use AI in their scripts. I genuinely believe that they probably do that or something.
I don't know if AI is at that point now, but they are strongly considering it if they're not using it partially already.
Watch Mojo 100% is at least considering doing it though. And
Yeah.
then the second question I have is a bit of a mini review I did. I saw Dumb Money at like an early screening of that film. It was
Nice.
okay, but there was one thing that kind of bothered me is that it takes place in 2020. What, Olivia? You saying
Nothing.
okay, I was about. Let me
A
rephrase.
sound effect in my game just went off, even though I shut sound effects off. I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, what I was about to say was that one thing that did annoy me about Dumb Money, I thought it was like a 5 out of 10 movie. It was fine for what it was.
Mhm.
Is that they include so many outdated memes that it actually becomes
Oh.
infuriating. Like they
That
included
sucks.
Elon Musk.
Oh,
They have an Elon Musk meme twice. They
No.
they use like a bunch of shit that I rather not spoil. And
Sure.
it got me thinking like, do you think there's an inherent flaw in making a film based on something that happened on the internet of like it being the risk of being dated if you include stuff like that, or
It depends on how it's presented, because you could include those same things either critically or uncritically. You can include them in your film. It just depends on what you think the voice or the intent of including it is.
yeah, that's just something I just thought about because it kind of annoyed me about Dumb Money. Another thing that annoyed me, and I'm almost done.
Sure.
So the actor who played Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan, is in this film. He plays the Robinhood CEO that famously screwed over a bunch of stock people.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the film, they showed like a meme montage at one point, and they showed like a clip from the first Avengers, and it got me thinking: is the Winter Soldier secretly the same CEO as like the stock person? The
Maybe.
It
Why
was
not?
something that actually bothered me because I'm like, why include a clip from Avengers, but also have one of the Marvel actors in the film? It's just like it makes no sense.
That's
to
funny.
Me, but that is funny.
Yeah,
It's just
I don't know if people are. Maybe that was in the script before it was cast.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, but I'm done now. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Davis, hello.
Yeah. So two things. One, I just wanna this is my third time here, but it's the first time I've like properly stayed for basically the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say again, thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's been really great. And
You're awesome, dude.
I want to say thank you to Adam, especially just because being in film school is enough already, and I feel like sometimes you don't get your whole money's worth. But I have genuinely learned more from you and your love of filmmaking more than I have in my 3 years at art school. No joke. I feel like I have excelled in my classes because of the knowledge I've gained from you and your videos. So
Well, it's good to have
just
both perspectives at
thank you
once
for that.
then.
Yeah, absolutely.
both worlds.
It's great to reassure myself, saying, "Okay, this man knows his shit."
It's just an opinion.
I think that's what makes you a great critic.
Thank you.
And then the second thing is just honestly kind of a music recommendation. And the reason why is just because it's a band I just recently discovered called Tedeschi Trucks Band.
How do I spell that?
Let me get it up for you right now. TEDESCHI Trucks Band.
Okay.
And there's a song called Pasaquan, PASAQUAN. It's a little bit of a longer song, but I think if you just have some downtime and you just want to listen to a really great instrumental, I think it's just extremely well layered, and it's just a great song. And so I just want to recommend it to all of you. It's something that I've been thinking a lot about in the past few days, and it's just a great song.
Okay, thank you. I will
Nice.
leave a tab
Thank you
open
guys
and
again.
we'll see what when I get to it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
You're pretty awesome, dude.
Oh, I appreciate it, me boy.
Seemed pretty cool.
All right. So, Olivia, do you have any questions or comments?
You streaming tonight?
I will be doing a 28 days later and 28 weeks later watch along.
Ooh, I'll download
When
that.
are they
Nice.
gonna make 28 years later?
Well,
I
months
can't
would
find-
months would be first.
I can't find
Oh,
28.
yeah.
I cannot find 28 days later on streaming anywhere. And the
So it
Blu-ray's part of-
looks like you're gonna have to cook up some tortillas. Looks like you're gonna have to go to some sort of something blank 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 123 blank blank dot blank.
Anyway. Also, you might like this game. It's a furry game and you can kill kids.
I noticed there was a
I've
fat
been
fur.
watching your gameplay. I love the tank styles. My goodness.
It's a fun game. It's from like a super underrated series that like
Mhm.
barely made any money.
Is it just a turn? Is it like a turn-based game?
Yeah, it's like turn-based tank game.
Yeah.
With
So to-
Like
where you
Advance
fight
Wars or something?
Nazi dog furries
To-
and you
to-
can kill children to win fights.
Ooh.
Seems very similar to Advance Wars.
So
To,
if a character
uh,
annoys you, you can just shove her in the fucking gun.
Fuck yeah.
To fully answer your question, I'm gonna be cooking some chicken after I end the stream. And so before I start, I'll be doing that before I start 28 days later / 28 weeks later. It'll be Twitch, Kick, and the Watch Alongs channel simultaneously.
I like how
So get your
attention was
coffees
drawn to the
ready.
fat fur.
I could be gone for 30 minutes or maybe an hour. I think Cat BF is out getting some stuff right now. So whenever he's back, and also I'm done cooking the chicken. So I'm just going to get to that right as soon as this call's over. So yeah, probably we'll start by 5 p.m. Eastern. And then
5 p.m.
Easy Games, did you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I've been binge watching the Team 4-Star content recently because they came out with a new episode
Mhm.
of Bits, and I just wanted to ask, like, are you familiar with
Okay.
who they are, or like, have you ever watched Dragon Ball at all?
I've seen Dragon Ball, and I remember fucking, what was it, 2000, how long ago was it, 2006 or something? Where Team
Mhm.
4-Star was making Dragon Ball, like dubs or
Yeah,
something?
they started like 2010 or something like that, but I
2010?
could be wrong.
Okay, I was off. But yeah, I haven't watched a lot of their stuff, but it's one of those things that I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad that they've navigated the copyright system to still be available today. And
Yeah, well,
I didn't
the
know
thing
they
is
were still
they
making
had
new
this-
stuff. Actually,
Well, they stopped around 2019 after like the Cell arc. I don't know how much you know about Dragon Ball like Z at all, besides like
No
what
idea.
they do with 4-Star. Okay, but yeah, they ended that arc and then they discontinued the series. But they came back recently with like a shorter version of the Boo arc, which is like the final one in the Dragon Ball Z arc thing, whatever. But they're more snippets, kind of like something that would fit more in line with like shorts content. But I believe they were making those specifically for like some channels review of like the arcs in Dragon Ball Z. But you know, it's about as close as you can get to a full Boo arc with Team 4-Star.
This
And
episode is
I
brought-
haven't really been watching that recently because I never finished the entire series, but wanted to catch up before I watched the Boo Bit stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate the series because it's been going on for so long. Like apparently they started at like 15 years old, which is insane to me.
yeah.
But like one of the coolest things I noticed while watching it is not only did like the writing get better, like the jokes actually became more
Hopefully, yeah.
referential. Yeah, they were less like referential to like internet humor, which is what a lot of abridged series kind of do. But they also like improved on the sound quality, like the mics sound better. They actually like put in ambient music or ambient like sound effects in the background because the first couple episodes there was like basically nothing. You can only hear like the characters talking, and they would only include like a couple sound effects here and there. But as the series goes on, they brought more life to it. It was like I was actually watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, and the voice acting's pretty good too. They got significantly better over time.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I might check some of it out. We'll see.
I remember
fucking
watching
busy.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge as a kid, and that was like the first example I saw of like YouTube's copyright being bullshit.
Yeah, and
'Cause
also
they got taken down a lot, even though it's like extremely transformative.
it's extremely transformative, but the rights owners live in a country where parody law doesn't even exist, so you can't blame them for taking it down. Because if you give the if like YouTube does,
should
they
have a
give a lot of
strike
leeway
right
to the
now.
rights owners. You're gonna run into that shit more frequently with Japanese content and anime content because literally in their country, like fair use doesn't exist.
What about like India?
India, I don't know. I just know that
I'm just
Japan
curious
doesn't
'cause
even
I'm
have
about
like
to get-
parody law, which
I'm
is
about to be
funny.
struck for a Bollywood movie, so
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
yeah.
their country's laws are. You still have the rights to, like, YouTube.
yeah, I'm just kind
YouTube's
of
an
wondering if
American
that's
country.
why they rejected my dispute this far.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Who cares? So I'm gonna end this pretty quick and cook some chicken, and I'll be back to do.
All right,
28
I
days
found
and
28 days later
weeks.
somewhere. I'm not going to say where, but I'll see you in the live stream. Bye.
Of course. Bye bye.
Thank you for having
Thank you so much.
me, Adam.
Yeah, I will. I'll post the date for the next month's hangout in the next couple weeks or so. Just refresh the part on the Patreon thing where it says the perks, where it says the current date. Thanks for hanging out. Peace for now. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Thanks for your support, everybody.
Bye bye. Bye bye.